It's Tuesday, June 4th, Wednesday, June 5th, if you're on the East Coast, across the pond, or down under. And this, my friends, is Spaced Out Radio. Hope you had a great day and night. I am your host, Dave Scott, broadcasting to you live from the Great White North, on top of the mountains of central British Columbia, right here at SOR headquarters. We welcome you to tonight's show, including Revolution Radio. If you want to take a listen to our archives, they are free at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Just do old Davey the favor, hit that subscribe button. Our website, nearly complete, is spacedoutradio.com. The Gavinator's almost finished the construction. It's looking damn good, so stay tuned for that. Tonight's show is brought to you by the YouTube channel in Suho. Sebastian Martin brings high-quality messages to the masses. Head to our website when it's done, and you can click on in Suho and subscribe today. The first Tuesday of every month, we search for our Zen and our Chi on the Spiritual You. Now, normally we are joined by Geraldine Orozco from San Francisco's Bay Area Meditation, but due to work travel, she has to take the night off. The good news is we have a couple of amazing people to fill Geraldine's shoes. Starting off with the quirky Cosmo, Kerri Ann Sanders. A personal awakening just a few years ago led Kerri Ann down a path of discovering her own spiritual life. It's a path that allows her to help others as well, to tune into their higher selves. We are also joined by Reuben Langdon, who's a Hollywood stuntman, also in the world of helping people finding their own spiritual contact. Reuben's show on Gaia, Interviews with Ed, is a #1 rated show on the channel. Then in the bottom of hour number 3, I will bring you the news on the SOR Newswire. Reuben Langdon, it's been a couple of years since we've had you on Spaced Out Radio. I'm a little disappointed that you cut your hair, but it was for a good cause, because you had a good mane, my friend. You had a good mane.
Oh, I appreciate it. Glad to be back. Thanks, Dave.
Not a problem. And it's been a number of months since we introduced the Spaced Out Radio crowd to the lovely and talented Kerri Ann Sanders. How have you been?
Pretty transformative, thank you.
Well, you keep on ascending in your own conscious life, which is a good thing. Kerri, we're going to start with you on this one in regards to who you are, because since you were last on, we have a bunch of new listeners who have tuned into us and a few new radio stations that we didn't have before. So I want to introduce you to them. Tell us a little bit about your story and how you went from just the living a modern everyday life as a young woman, family lady with a couple of beautiful kids, to leading your own spiritual quest.
Yeah, right. Definitely lived in the modern suburban life. Yeah. Well, I had my mother passed, and that was pretty much a massive catalyst in my awakening. And then my company that I had at Day Spa, I was a cosmetologist, practicing cosmetologist for 10 years. That took a crash. And I journeyed across from California to Florida and found the Gulf Coast ever so healing, and, just started expanding, going inward and dealing with the shadows and the loss and the grief. And yeah, so I found myself, joining with a lot of other women and integrating with the trees, and just really bonding with the people about, emotional and trials and tribulations that you go through these mass tower awakenings, and finding the subtleties and the ambience of life, really, like the grass and the breeze and all of that, just to be very transformational, and to hear it, feel it, and know that you're one with those elements. So that really opened me up and put me into not only my own healing, but also into the stars. And I opened up with gene keys and astrology, human design, and energy working, of course. I was dealing with energy working, oracle cards, every which way you can learn how to communicate with yourself and your higher self. So for me, I was really transcended by the stars. That really took me for the best roller coaster ride I've ever been on in my life. And it doesn't stop. It just keeps getting more in tune with these cosmic connections. and the grids with the Earth and the galaxies and all these stargates. So it's, like I said, it's ever transformational, and I'm really, really grateful for, the soul sacrifice that was made on behalf of my mother, coming into those awareness and not looking at, death in the form of it's an ending, but looking at just a whole new perspective of life. It was beautiful. It's been a beautiful journey. Thank you.
And Reuben Langdon, yourself, you always wanted to work at Hollywood and in movies, but along those paths, you also started getting in touch with yourself and in tune with your own consciousness and soul.
Yeah, it's been a wild few years here, and starting this series Interview with Ed was a little midway through my spiritual journey, I guess, but really sort of opening me up to the self-work that needs to be done to heal, to heal the planet. We have to heal ourselves first, or they sort of go hand in hand, I should say. So, it's been an amazing, eye-opening, emotional roller coaster, and I'm just every day in gratitude and appreciation for the miracles and synchronicities and the crazy stuff that just keeps popping up in my day-to-day life, from my grateful work for working in Hollywood and having gotten to work with the best, from James Cameron to Jackie Chan, to now working with the best in the ET UFO space in the arena, from the hardcore researchers like Lynn and Richard Dolan, who are at Contact this weekend, to this new wave of young, spiritually grounded and yet intergalactically connected group of individuals who are coming online here. I just finished an interview today with Adam Apollo, an amazing gentleman, definitely a galactic ambassador, and wow, what a roller coaster. So much appreciation and gratitude for all these opportunities and crazy life-changing events that keep on happening.
Well, we should actually ask you, before we move any further, how was Contact in the Desert this year? And, usually when you get to these type of big events with all the energy that's around there, some strange things happen. So did anything catch you off guard?
Well, I had been sort of popping in and out of Contact. It's sort of in my backyard. I live in Big Bear, California, and they Contact this year was in Indian Wells, which is just right there in Palm Springs, basically. They moved the venue, I guess, last year, and a little disappointed. I kind of like a lot of people like the old place, but I think they had some air conditioner problems, and Contact just kind of outgrew the space. The night sky is not as clear and beautiful as it is up there in Joshua Tree, and I don't think there's as much craziness when it comes to the energy space. I mean, Palm Springs is crazy. That whole desert area is crazy, but there's something special about Joshua Tree that I think the ETs can just sort of pop in and out way easier. But I noticed something this year. For one, I was there pretty much the full conference, 3 full days. Before, just like I said, popped in and out to say hi to friends and check out a couple day events and stuff. But the energy has shifted. I mean, of course, we had this weekend. What a huge announcement, right? The Washington Post and all the other guys from last week's Navy opening up to the UFO thing and sort of publicly going there, to just all of this news media just going all at it. And if anybody hasn't been paying attention to that, I don't know what planet you're on. But we basically were, I made the claim, I posted this on Twitter and Facebook. We're in a post-disclosure world now. I mean, when you have major newspapers like the New York Times and Washington Post basically saying, Washington Post even saying, if you don't believe in UFOs, you're not in the right dimension right now. So with headlines like that, it's time for us all to accept the fact that ETs are real and we're being engaged. And that's just that alone. We don't have to go into the details, and there's a million different, conspiracy theories and different ideas and whatever, but that itself is just such a major paradigm shift, a game changer in our reality, collective reality. Most of us have already known this and already had our personal interactions, and we don't need the New York Times or Washington Post to validate it for us. But there's a huge group of people out there that sort of need that validation. And for the ones who already know, it's nice to have that validation. It's like, see, that family member, mom, dad, or cousin, or, friend that's always been like, yeah, you're the UFO. Not, now we can kind of say, well, maybe not, finally some validation. And it's not really about the validation, but it is what I believe a major paradigm shift, a shift in the first step, and we're there. And it was awesome. And to have contact happen this weekend of all the times, it's like, yes, everybody's just cheering. And it was really just a lot of high vibes and just people ready for the next step. We're ready for it.
Kerri Ann Sanders, we bring you in here. Have you noticed the paradigm shift as well within the fact that we seem to be drawing more attention to things like UFOs, alien life, disclosure, wherever that path may go?
Oh, of course. I see it. I don't pay attention to the news media and outlets. I'm one of those people that turn off the TV and disconnect the radios, and I tune into the stars, and just whatever comes into my reality is what I pay attention to. It was all news to me just listening right now. I mean, honestly, I was like, oh, wow, that's amazing. And I was like, I didn't even know they moved contact to Indian Wells. I was raised out in that area, and so I'm very familiar with the energies out there. So the family actually lives in Palm Springs, Palm Desert area. So I understand the vibes is very, it's different out there from Joshua Tree, most definitely. So I can sense that. But that's good. Like, all of that energy came out. Oh my God, I'm just kind of like, right now, I'm like one of the people that are listening on the radio, like, whoa, that just happened. So I'm really sitting here like, whoa, that really just happened. But I notice it. I feel like, whenever I'm in because I deal a lot with in the community and all that too, and out here in Sarasota, I'm over here by the pyramids, inner earth, Shambhala, like pyramids, if you're looking at the grids and stuff like that, that's how it works. But so I deal more with like the etherics and, bringing in those energies. And so seeing like all these tourists that are coming to the beaches, like this is one of the largest places on the coast, like, down in here in Florida, Sarasota gets millions of tourists. And it's just seeing like these high vibrations, their expanded awareness. Like this whole season that we just had, I had so many conversations with people that, in their 60s, 70s, older people that are traveling for their winter, right? And having these high vibe conversations with people that, saw, World War II and Vietnam and having this expanded awareness. So like, yeah, of course there's aliens. Of course there's life, like not just here, but everywhere. Like, if they even think it's narrow-minded to say that there's not life on other planets. And man, we're all extraterrestrials, if you ask me. In my mind, we're all extraterrestrial being in a flesh suit here, playing it out. So
that's a very deep statement to make, though. That's a very deep statement to make that we're all extraterrestrials. If that is the case, where do we come from?
Well, that's whenever you got to look at your astrology. You can look at in your natal birth chart and see what constellations you're aligned with. Not just necessarily one constellation. You lined up with multiple constellations like Sirius and Orion, Arcturus. The Pleiades is a big one. We also have Lyra, Vega, speak, I mean, I can go on. There's 88, we have the 88 main constellations that we use, but there's more than just that. There's the hidden constellations, the quote-unquote covert secret constellations, and like Ophiuchus and Hydra, and there's, which I'm working on a project right now with a friend, we're going to release a video about the celestial lineage of Hydra, and how this is hidden in the biblical text or the ancient text. And there's a lot that goes into these starseed or celestial locations. And how you find out is you pull up your natal chart and you get in contact with a astrologer like myself and we look at your chart and see if you've got maybe Jupiter or Saturn or maybe your north node or south node or Mars, Venus, all your planets, and see which constellations your planets are aligned to, and that lets you know your starseed locations or your stargate locations. I mean, there's all kinds of different words that are thrown around for it, but your extraterrestrial or celestial lineage. So, and this plays into the DNA and the frequency that you carry as an energy being, because we're all energy bodies. We're batteries, quintessentially, on this planet, conduits. And we're all one, yes, but we're all energetically intertwined and vibrating at different oscillations. So, and how you vibrate is based on your templates that you carry from these stargates, and how you're healing those shadows and characteristics that were developed through childhood, through your social settings. And
Reuben, would you agree with that?
Yes, I absolutely agree with that, and would add that it's not just in this incarnation of our traumas and things that we're trying to integrate, but also our galactic family, our galactic traumas, our archetypal stories that we tell in our lures and in our different storytelling mythologies. And these stories they come from the stars. Look at the ancient people of the planet use the stars to tell the stories, and that's what astrology is. And that's our history. That's who we are. And and what we're doing is we're integrating the stories. We're integrating these star systems that carry these stories, and we are healing. We're healing. We're doing the healing work, which is the integration of diffusing polarity, not seeing this or that and taking specific sides, but seeing this and that they both have equal value. And all of our galactic family is all there to show us and reflect back to us who we truly are and where we come from. And I agree, we are all extraterrestrials. We are all extra-dimensionals, and we have a multi-dimensional component to each and every single one of us on this planet. And some of us have come to that realization, and some haven't yet, and that's okay. That's part of the joyride we're on, and it's amazing.
Is that what it is, a joyride?
Well, it can be if we choose to make it so. And you can't have joy without the darkness. So, of course, we still are in a polarity, duality, binary system, but this evolution, this big shift in consciousness that we're moving into we're moving into a Trinity consciousness. We're moving into a realm that no longer sees polarity as it used to be seen. And when you can, and that's what the integration is, when you see the pain, and when you use tools like forgiveness and acceptance and compassion and unconditional love, then you integrate those pains, and they no longer become the stories. That they no longer, and these are the greatest teachers of the planet, from Jesus to Buddha to Muhammad. before things got distorted, they all talked about these tools of integration. And then, then those guys pass away, and then some other guys come in to start converting the stories to sort of manipulate it to serve their cause or purpose or whatever. And then we have, the dogma that we're all waking up to is in fact dogma. And then we're now going back to the original, the original teachings of Christ and Buddha and Muhammad and many, many other teachers, Krishna, and we have new star seeds, star beings that are here and helping us move through in this great age of transformation.
When you look at the way people are transforming these days, finding their own spiritual path, Kerri Ann, a lot of people seem to be doing it on their own. They're not looking for a lot of help. They're just looking for that guidance to get there. And we got about 90 seconds before we need to go to break. But are you finding that it is more men than women or more women than men that are trying to find their true selves right now?
I feel that the women have been seeking this, and I feel like there's been a wake of the masculine, to be honest, that is really stepping forward and owning their emotions and their divine feminine within. So I feel, the women have been rising and connecting to the spiritual inkling within them, that knowing that womb of creation within them. They've been journeying through these dark nights of the soul for eons, to be honest. And I feel like it's the masculine that's stepping forward right now and embracing their essence, their truth, their emotions, their love and their character of being in tune with nature and it being okay and accepted. And I feel like that's really what's waking right now.
Is it because, in your opinion, we'll probably get your answer at the other side, but is it because men are starting to realize that, you can be masculine and find your own spirituality at the same time? You can still live that tough guy image.
I feel it, yes. I feel that they're finding that it is okay to embrace that feminine aspect. It is okay to be masculine and be with the tough guy qualities, strength, and domineering and supportive, but at the same time gentle and open and receptive to those feelings, to the balancing of them both within.
Right. I'm going to get you to hold on right there. Kerri Ann Sanders, Reuben Langdon, filling in for Geraldine Orozco tonight on The Spiritual You. We'll be right back. Come get spooked at the 4th Annual Forest Moon Paracon in Cedar-Woolley, Washington, Saturday, September 28th. UFOs, ghosts, aliens, Bigfoot. Speakers include Mike Morin and Jason Jordan, R. Keith Andrews, and Dave Scott from Spaced Out Radio, and so much more. There will be workshops and a VIP roundtable. Get early bird tickets now at fmparacon.com.
Are you intrigued by Paranormal Talk Radio? You'll love the new Paranormal Radio app from TalkStream Live. You'll find a great selection of talk shows covering UFOs, ghosts, strange phenomena, and much more. Download the Paranormal Radio app now and start listening to the very best in paranormal talk entertainment, including the network you're listening to right now, the Paranormal Radio app, free in Google Play and the iOS App Store.
Looking for the stories of the strange and weird that you will find hard to find anywhere else? Check out the SOR Newswire on our website. Our writers, led by Captain Shirk, are scouring the world for the oddest and most bizarre stories we can find. Everything from weird crime to suspenseful and paranormal. We're working hard for you to bring you the most intriguing news of your day. Check out the SOR Newswire at spacedoutradio.com today.
A timepiece is a reflection of who you are. And what better way to show off the real you than with an Escape watch? Escape is a lifestyle brand accessorizing your days and nights. Choose to escape and create the life of discovery that you deserve. Dream, play, unite with your own personalized Escape watch. Head to escapewatches.com. There is no time like the present to enjoy your escape. Use promo code SMF2017 for your 20% discount today.
Heading to Vancouver and looking for a night on the town? The Moose Vancouver is the bar that never stops rocking until 2 a.m. every night. The Moose has great food with everything on the menu from $6.95 to $8.95. Fantastic, vibrant staff and rock and roll that will bring you back to when the music was real, the hair was long, and the guitars were rockin'. Get your party on at the Moose Vancouver, the official party bar of Spaced Out Radio.
Hello, this is your guitar man, Ron Bumblefoot Thal, and I have to tell you, I love the response I get for Little Brother is Watching from Spaced Out Radio fans. It's amazing how music can inspire and make people think deeper about what's going on in the supernatural world. You can head over to my website, bumblefoot.com, to check out my music, my guitar workshops, my touring, even check out some of the hot sauces that I'm working on. And make sure you keep on listening, because with Spaced Out Radio, you know Little Brother is watching.
Are you tired of being blocked, shadow banned, or placed in jail for simply posting your thoughts on social media? Social Media Freedom can take care of that for you. Social Media Freedom is the newest and one of the best free new apps that allows you the freedom to post what you want, when you want. It takes seconds to download from your app store. Come join the tribe at Social Media Freedom. It's time to set yourself free.
Every night on Spaced Out Radio, we have places for you to hang out. Hi, this is Carl. Join our SOR Space Travelers group on Facebook for live chat. On Twitter, using hashtag Spaced Out Radio. You can also join us in our Spreaker chat room. Check us out on Instagram at Dave Scott SOR. All of our archives are free on YouTube at Spaced Out Radio. By the way, I'll be watching you at your window until you do. Bye!
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7, with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
Did you know Spaced Out Radio runs 7 days a week? Hi there, this is Tessa Nicole Thomas, and I'm here to take you on a paranormal journey each Saturday and Sunday night. Why change the station when you have it all right here? Together, we'll hang out and share some strange and scary stories. And don't forget, we have Psychic Sundays as well, so come tune in Spaced Out Weekend. We get going at 9 p.m. Pacific, midnight Eastern, only at spacedoutradio.com, where we own the night.
Looking for a place to advertise at a very reasonable cost? Look no further than Spaced Out Radio. SpacedOutRadio.com has an advertising tab that you can click to check out our daily, weekly, and monthly packages to play on the radio, or our website including social media. From commercial spots to banners, we have it all. Check out our competitive pricing today.
We're bringing scientific thought to the paranormal. Hi there, this is Spaced Out Radio scientist Chris Cogswell. Join me, Chris Zuger, and Dave Scott the second Wednesday of every month, where we break down the who from the woo when it comes to everything paranormal. We'll investigate and try to bring sensible answers to those straight and sometimes outlandish questions people have. Hey, not everything has an answer, but we'll do our best. Listen in to Reality Paranormal only on Spaced Out Radio.
Coming soon to our website, spacedoutradio.com, is the SOR Space Travelers Club. For just $5 a month, you can get into a private area on our site where you can hang with other listeners in our chat room, post in our forum, and check out a bunch of exclusive content and store that won't be found anywhere else, including a nightly after-show party with Dave. It's going to be the best $5 a month you're going to spend. The SOR Space Travelers, only at spacedoutradio.com.
Coming up this September 21st and 22nd, all UFO eyes will be focused on Toronto for the 4th Annual Alien Cosmic Expo. Come listen to some of the biggest names and experiencers in ufology. Travis Walton, Paul Hellyer, Richard Dolan, Paula Harris, Grant Cameron, Randy Kramer, and Spaced Out Radio's own Dave Scott. Tickets are on sale now at aliencosmicexpo.com.
Welcome back to the second half hour of Spaced Out Radio. Tonight, I am your host, Dave Scott, sitting in the captain's chair of SOR headquarters in the frozen Canadian tundra. Reminder to all of you, if you've missed portions of this show or others, you can always go to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Just do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. Also, our website, under construction. The Gavinator's hoping that within the next 24 to 48 hours, we should be ready for launch at spacedoutradio.com, so stay tuned for that. Filling in for a traveling Geraldine Orozco on the Spiritual U, we have Reuben Langdon and Kerri Ann Sanders as they are hopping in, talking everything from alignments to human consciousness and everything in between. Now, right before the break, Kerri Ann, I had asked you a quick question about whether or not men were starting to get into the whole aspect of finding themselves spiritually as much as women. And Reuben, you wanted to chime in on that.
Yeah, for sure. It's you sort of talked about men sort of leaving their, or this macho sort of aggressive, the manness, right? The man. I'm a man's man kind of attitude, which has gotten men in a lot of trouble, over the years and centuries and millennia. But I've noticed for me, coming from stuntman perspective, being in Hollywood and being a stuntman, there's a lot of men in my industry. And I've never felt quite super comfortable being that guy that does all that, and probably a little off than your typical stunt guy perspective or archetype. But what I've really noticed over the past few years is really embracing that feminine energy and the truths and the wisdom and there's just so much there that us men have not looked at or been taught to look at through our cultural and religious, constructs. We've been told to bury the feminine energy. It's not cool to cry. Suck it up. To don't feel those emotions because that's what wusses do. And you know what? It's a lot more, I would say, engaging and scary and just powerful to go into those emotions. You want to be a real man, start feeling stuff. And that's been my journey over the past few years, to really just start looking at this divine feminine energy that is all around us. And guess what, guys? We couldn't exist. We wouldn't exist if it wasn't there. So you ask, what came first, the chicken or the egg? I know they both came at the same time kind of thing. But man, oh man, I'm going to put the woman before the man any day. And I think we have that in our, women's always come first, open the door and all this stuff. So we have that.
We're not allowed to anymore. We're not allowed to anymore.
Well, see, that's where that's the other end of the polarity, right? So this pendulum swinging from one end to the other. And we're constantly, we're in this right now. I think we're in this, because it has been so intense for so long for the divine feminine energy. So we're just now, men are just starting, some of us are just starting to give voices to the women now. And because it's been so suppressed and subdued and just all kinds of nasty things have been going on for so long, of course, they're going to come out. They're given the opportunity. They're going to come out, and they're going to come out strong. And this is not everyone, but some of these women are just going to come out strong. But what happens is that energy becomes distorted and then becomes, again, the same thing, masculine energy. So, but that's okay. Right now, it has to come out in that way. This is just part of the evolution. I do believe the pendulum's going to swing back and we can find our balance. But I think for us men right now, it's our time to step in to the divine feminine, to notice and embrace and feel the emotion that the feminine energy is in with all of us, and stop the stupid stories of suck it up and you to be a real man, you don't cry and all that goofiness, because that's not a balanced person at all. And just to embrace that and embrace the wisdom, that the men coming first and having all the answers, that's got to end. We are truly in a co-creative world.
I do got to interject here for something, because with my 5-year-old son, when I discipline him, I make darn sure that I threaten him by taking him to the soccer field, because no child should play soccer. Is that okay?
Of course, soccer's fine. Why are you threatening?
Oh, no, not at all. Not at all.
What?
If sport was religion, soccer would be the Antichrist.
No, come on. Soccer's great. It moves you around, and you use your feet, you use your body. It's
also teaches hooliganism and how to dive.
Well, see, this is part of this extreme distortion that these polarities that we're working through these now, and for us to just take a chill pill and stop demonizing all the stuff, all the stuff that it's fun to play soccer, and if not for you, that's okay. You don't have to play soccer. If you have a kid that doesn't like soccer, you doesn't have to play soccer. That's okay. Honor that. But for those who do, soccer's an amazing sport. It's great. It teaches hand-eye coordination. There's all kinds of good stuff behind it.
It's a wonderful balancing act. Like, it really is. Just all of this, what the masculine, how I perceive this, and what it is really is like that masculine, right? As long as for the masculine, whether you be a woman or a man, it doesn't matter. But the masculine energy, if you have been in which it has been suppressed, it's been suppressed. Like the masculine itself has been not allowed to feel, and therefore they have neglected and suppressed that inner feminine quality, and so therefore it's created this external hostility and denial, and that's what we've been seeing play out. And what you're seeing right now is a breaking of these dualistic natures, and coming to this balance. And it's not about and I found my feminine, so I'm going to go break down and cry over and watch 30 romance movies. It's not what it is about. It's really just about seeing the pain that you've gone through, or the torture, or the neglect, or whatever it was that you went through in your primary years as a child. And really looking at that and saying, I wasn't seen, I wasn't heard, I was abandoned, I was scared, I was afraid of my body, I was mocked, and I'm not okay with that, but that's not who I am anymore. It doesn't define me, and I can stand in my own power and my authority and not be hateful and spiteful, demeaning, or, suppressive of those emotions, but allow them to come to the surface, accept them, love myself for making it through all of that and still being able to turn my life around. And that's embracing the divine feminine. That's embracing the feminine energy in general, is to be able to persevere through your own compassion and devotion to yourself. Through self-love, that's the healing, that's the journey, that's going through the darks, the depths, the stuff that nobody wants to really feel anymore. I mean, you know, you get picked on in elementary school or high school or however it played out for you, or maybe you're just that guy in the office that, you know, that it doesn't get invited to the office parties with the rest of the guys. You know, however it plays out for you.
I'm that guy.
Really
I'm that
looking
guy.
at these situations. Oh, you're that guy? You work by yourself, man.
Hey, I can tell you this. I am anti-family. I am totally anti-family.
Oh.
I wasn't even invited to the family reunion. My sisters were, my parents were. I was not.
Well,
that's something to be, you know, sometimes there's something to be grateful. Sometimes be grateful.
I was extremely grateful. I was extremely grateful.
Not everybody wants to go and have a turkey dinner or Christmas ham with their family. I know dang well that I can definitely stay away from my family at times.
It's only on my mother's side too. And to me now it's kind of a laugh. It's kind of a laugh for me now because I enjoy watching it for having. It's like, okay, there's a family event coming up. How am I not going to be invited this year? This is the plan that comes out.
What can I do?
How am I not going to be invited? I'll give you an example. A couple of years ago, when my parents were snowbirding down in Arizona for Christmas, my mom's sister called me up at 10:30 at night on the 23rd and said, "Oh, forgot to call you and tell you that we're doing a family dinner tomorrow night at 5:00 if you could come." It's like, no, it's Christmas Eve. I got plans. Well, we had forgotten to call you. Oh, thank you. Oh, I love it now. To me, it's now entertainment. It's entertainment factor.
Yeah.
I think it's because they all played soccer.
You know,
soccer. Well, maybe
soccer?
They'll see the headlines. Maybe they'll see the headlines about the ETs and they're like, wait, maybe we should invite them to dinner and let's figure out what's really happening here. You know,
maybe, but the good part about it is I hear the aliens don't like soccer either.
Well, maybe not. Let's not project our, you know, aliens not liking soccer. I'm sure there's some aliens that might be really into it.
I think you should show up one night at the dinner party with a gray suit on and saying, "We have arrived."
It's happened here. It has happened here. I'm okay with that. I'm very okay with the aliens showing up, but I'll tell you, if they come onto my property holding a soccer ball, we're going to rumble. I'm going to go get my hockey gloves. We're going to drop them right in my driveway here and say, "Okay, boys, let's go. Let's go." Reuben Langdon and Kerri Ann Sanders are our guests tonight on The Spiritual You. And when you're trying to find yourself and who you are, we can laugh about it. We can always try to you know, use that "yeah, but" excuse, or "I do this because of that," Reuben. In the end, are we putting up blockages in ourselves from allowing us to be spiritually pure?
I'm not sure I understand the question 100%. Can you reword it in a different way, maybe?
A lot of people make excuses. We always hear about this black cloud that people say, you know, nothing good ever happens to me, or I just can't seem to catch a break. Are we putting that on ourselves, or is that the universe putting it on us?
Absolutely, put it on yourself. I mean, everything in this reality, and I'm just for your audience, I'm getting this from my series, from my interviews with the various channelers and extra dimensional people, and you know, folks like Kerri Ann who have connections to these other realms. And in doing so, I've opened up my own connections to these other realms. So I'm now, you know, unlike before, getting downloads, so to say, and meditating and having all kinds of crazy experiences. So that's where I'm coming from. I'm coming from my personal experiences with the downloads as well as the interviews I've been doing over the years. And from my understanding, through personal experience as well, is, what you resist persists. So we're all doing it to ourselves. What you put out is what you get back. So if you're, you know, if something in your life is not working out so well or not the way you want it, that's the time to reflect and go within and ask the question, well, why, what blockages what barriers, what walls am I putting up? Why is this not working? And, it's easy to blame the other. It's easy to project something outside of you. It's very difficult to look within and to take responsibility.
Kerri Ann, what do you think about that?
My favorite thing to say is yes, your words create your reality. This is, if people are listening and they want to know more about this, I would highly suggest listening to Dr. Joe Dispenza. You can find him on YouTube all over. Bruce Lipton as well with epigenetics. Two really great. And then also on Gaia, you can find Greg Braden's series. I think he's got 3 seasons now. Is it 3 seasons of?
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, so amazing. So, but anyways, it is. Yeah,
I can't believe
create your reality.
Yeah, Craig Braden, Bruce, these guys, and now my show. I can't believe my show is even beating those guys. I can't even. It's like when I heard that news this weekend, I fell out of my chair. But absolutely, yeah. And these are the same things. Everything those guys are saying is the same things that are coming through the channel material. Our ETs, our extra dimensionals, they're saying the same things. It's our words and our thoughts. Yeah, our words, our thoughts, they create our reality. The actions are the full things. You can, just because you're thinking something negative doesn't necessarily mean it's going to manifest, but that's the first stages, and that starts to spiral. And usually we take action on our negative thoughts. We'll do something polarizing or whatever, and then that's going to create in our reality the negative repercussions, cause and effect. What you put out is what you get back. So we need to, start from coming from a place of monitoring our thoughts, which is difficult all the time. You can't do that all the time, but just getting into the habit of, okay, in this mindset, is this serving me? Is this idea, this thought, is following this, conspiracy theory or whatever, is that going to serve my evolution? And does that excite me? Or does it put me in a state of fear? Does it make me want to, recluse and stay, go build my war bunker and arm up and get ready for the alien invasion? If those are the types of things that the actions you're taking from those sort of thoughts, then you might want to relook at your thoughts and see how, okay, maybe I should open up a little bit more and communicate with my neighbor and maybe not be so combative in my ideas and ideologies and, that kind of thing. So sorry to cut you off, Kerri. I went off on a little tangent there. Go ahead.
No, you're good. You were just finishing up your train of thought you had earlier. It's all good. Now, I haven't to add to it. It's yes, your words create your reality and everything else that Reuben had just said. But also, like when you're trying to find like what are these thoughts, a good way to look at it is what you're projecting into your reality. And so the triggers, you can hear a lot of people say, well, that triggers me, or that pissed me off, or I didn't, they're having a negative reaction to somebody else's actions or words, and that's what we call a trigger. And so whenever you find yourself getting triggered, instead of reacting, to the person and playing out that victim perpetrator role, it's whenever you're gonna go, okay, so I didn't like the person that was that was just talking about like politics. Say it's politics. It's a huge trigger for a lot of people. Is politics. Like, oh, well, they just talked about, Trump, and it triggered you. So instead of jumping in and having your own opinion about Trump or politics in general, sit back and say, well, how does this make me feel? How do I feel? How do I feel right now? Do I feel defensive? Okay, I'm defensive. Or do I feel anxiety? Okay, so I have anxiety. So take those feelings and then play them back to whenever you were younger, because all of your traits, all of them, every dang one of them, come back and they stem back to the first 7 years of your life. Even your ancestral traits and triggers and all this, it goes back to how you were socially and nurtured and emotionally, culturally programmed, okay, and how you were told to be and expected to be, and all of that in between. And that all happened within the first 7 years of your life, and then continued to play out in verity and in severity whenever you got into your second cycle. And then, which is is 8 to 14 years old, you can see these cycles playing out. And then you can see it again playing out, on an intellectual level from age 15 to 21. So you're seeing these triggers, right, arise from the first 7 years of your life, but you can trace it all the way to from the 21st. So just look at your relationships with your boyfriends, girlfriends, or your friendships and your high school, and how things played out in your reality. And that's the time frame in which you were stamped with these traumas or psychological patternings within your emotional body, within your body, within your DNA. And so whenever you're able to go back into these timelines, and you were able to rewrite these emotions instead of having a negative or reaction to them, and just being able to sit with that energy and go, I'm not there anymore. It doesn't have to affect me anymore. I love me. I am safe. I am heard. I hear myself. I speak. All of that. Whenever you can acknowledge the growth and the awareness that you bring to your life, you will change the molecular structure of your DNA. And that brings you into a higher vibration. That changes your perception. That, therefore, changes your reality. And that's where they get this whole, speak affirmation, and being aware of your thoughts. It comes from just noticing the triggers and going, wow, I'm really grateful that I was able to notice that I was even triggered by, the guy that just flipped me off on the freeway. And I don't care because we're going 2 miles an hour, and I'll see you again, man. I'm just going to smile and give you love because you need it, and I'm aware of this. That's the affirmations you got. You don't got to sit there and go, I am a millionaire. I am a multimillionaire. I have $1 billion yacht sitting in my backyard. No, that's great and everything, but let's get to the point where you recognize you. Let's love you, and then once we love ourselves, then you'll just start seeing the abundance of life show itself to you. And you start with you. And I'm snappy. I snapped my fingers. I got it going on.
I know. I had to copy it. I had to copy it. Reuben, Kerri, I'm going to get you to hold on because we are going to go to a break here at the top of the hour. Reuben Langdon, Kerri Ann Sanders, filling in for Geraldine Orozco on The Spiritual You, which happens the first Tuesday of every month. Geraldine will be back next month on July 2nd. But we're glad to have Reuben and Kerri Ann here. They're wonderful people. We got them for another 90 minutes here on Spaced Out Radio, so stay tuned.
Hang out with Spaced Out Radio, where we own the night. This is Carl. You can follow Dave on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio, and during the show, use the hashtag Spaced Out Radio to chat with us live. On Instagram, at Dave Scott SOR. On Facebook, give our page a like, Spaced Out Radio Show. SOR archives are free on YouTube at Spaced Out Radio. Come join us, or I will come join you. See you at your window.
On the first Tuesday of every month, I encourage you to come along for a journey with me, Geraldine Orozco, on The Spiritual You. Together, we will take a look at how to access the highest expression of yourself and change your life. Consciousness, ET contact, health, and wellness, we can talk about it all. So come along for a spiritual ride with me, Geraldine Orozco, on The Spiritual You, only on Spaced Out Radio.
Get your horns up with me on Spaced Out Radio. This is Ron Bumblefoot Thal. Come tune in to SOR where you can hear me rock out with Little Brother is Watching, the official theme song of Spaced Out Radio. And then come on over to bumblefoot.com where you can find out about my tour schedule, my music, and everything else. Bumblefoot.com keeps you up to date on what I'm doing and the best way to stay in touch with my music and music camps. Sign up for my newsletter at bumblefoot.com and remember, Little Brother is watching.
Canada's largest UFO conference is ready to roll in Toronto this September 21st and 22nd at the Alien Cosmic Expo. This year is about the experience. Listen to the stories of Dave Scott, Travis Walton, Paula Harris, Grant Cameron, Ryan Stacey, Richard Dolan, Leslie Mitchell-Clark, and more. Get your tickets now at aliencosmicexpo.com. Find your escape where time has no limits. It's about living today and cherishing the heritage of yesterday. A spirit of adventure for what is new with the nostalgia of the past. Your timepiece is a reflection of who you are. Life surrounded by beauty from the world around us to the soul within. EscapeWatches.com. There is no time like the present to enjoy your escape. Use promo code SMF2017 for your 20% discount today.
The Call of the Wild is in Vancouver. The Moose Vancouver is one of the hottest bars and restaurants in the city. Open until 2 a.m. nightly, the Moose will rock you like a hurricane all night long. Great food with everything on the menu at $6.95 near the corner of Nelson and Granville. Get your horns up and come rock with us. The Moose Vancouver, the official rocking bar of Spaced Out Radio.
Visit purpleplates.com today. For over 40 years, the Purple Energy Plates have been delivering amazing results for their many customers. Inspired by the great genius Nikola Tesla, the harmony, healing, and energetic effects of the plates have proven over and over to be beneficial and often miraculous to thousands of customers. Check their site for daily specials and choose from their many energy products. You won't be sorry. Visit them today at purpleplates.com.
The freedom to post what you want, when you want. That's the social media freedom you need. Social Media Freedom is the free app in your app store. No need to worry about going to jail or being shadow banned any longer. It's the freedom to say what you feel. The freedom to know Big Brother isn't watching. It's the way social media is supposed to be. Social Media Freedom. It's time to set yourself free. Download from your app store today.
At spacedoutradio.com, we have a little bit of everything for you to stay up late. So while you're there, check out our SOR Newswire, where our team brings you stories of the weird and strange to the WTF from around the globe. News on Bigfoot, UFOs, paranormal, Darwinian-type crime tales. It's the stories that the mainstream media usually won't touch. Well, we got them all on the SOR Newswire, only at spacedoutradio.com.
Looking for a place to advertise at a very reasonable cost? Look no further than Spaced Out Radio. SpacedOutRadio.com has an advertising tab that you can click to check out our daily, weekly, and monthly packages to play on the radio, or our website including social media. From commercial spots to banners, we have it all. Check out our competitive pricing today.
Come get spooked at the 4th Annual Forest Moon Paracon in Cedar-Woolley, Washington, Saturday, September 28th. UFOs, ghosts, aliens, Bigfoot. Speakers include Mike Morin and Jason Jordan, R. Keith Andrews, and Dave Scott from Spaced Out Radio, and so much more. There will be workshops and a VIP roundtable. Get early bird tickets now at fmparacon.com.
We are getting ready to relaunch the SOR Space Travelers Club at spacedoutradio.com. For $5 a month, you can join us for a plethora of features found nowhere else. Hang out in a private chat room during the show and after party. You can check out some exclusive content and a store specifically for you, as well as a private listener forum where you can post your thoughts, stories, and pictures. The SOR Space Travelers Club, coming soon to spacedoutradio.com.
You hear footsteps in the empty room above you. A rocking chair begins rocking by itself. Don't be afraid of the things that go bump in the night. Reach for Spirit Storybox, the iPhone app the Huffington Post UK called the only ghost hunting app you will ever need. Spirit Storybox. The spirits are telling their stories. Are you listening?
We're bringing scientific thought to the paranormal. Hi there, this is Spaced Out Radio scientist Chris Cogswell. Join me, Chris Zuger, and Dave Scott the second Wednesday of every month, where we break down the who from the woo when it comes to everything paranormal. We'll investigate and try to bring sensible answers to those straight and sometimes outlandish questions people have. Hey, not everything is an answer, but we'll do our best. Listen in to Reality Paranormal only on Spaced Out Radio.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7, with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
Hey, this is Canadian Paranormal Investigator Mike Moore. The third Wednesday of every month, I'll be teaming up with Dave Scott to bring you Ghosts of the Great White North. Each month, we will bring on guests from across Canada to discuss their ghostly encounters. Canada is a paranormal hotbed with stories you've never heard, so we're going to bring them to you. So get comfy on your Chesterfield, grab a donut, and join us, eh?
You're listening to Spaced Out Radio with Dave Scott. Follow Dave on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio and on Facebook, Spaced Out Radio Show.
Welcome back to hour number 2 of Spaced Out Radio tonight. I am your host, Dave Scott. Thank you so much for being with us. Tomorrow night on the show, it's Reality Paranormal. Chris Cogswell, William Pullen are our guests. 9:06 Pacific, 12:06 a.m. Eastern at spacedoutradio.com. Hi to everyone listening in on our terrestrial affiliates, KDNF, AM 1560 in Dangerfield, Texas, KDUN, AM 1030 in Reedsport, Oregon, in Ridgecrest, California, KZFX 93.7 FM, WQEE 99.1 FM in Newnan, Georgia, and UPRN 107.7 FM in New Orleans. On the digital side, we're proud to represent Revolution Radio. Thank you so much for being with us. Don't forget, all of our archives are free at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Just do old Davey the favor, hit that subscribe button. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club. Valiti is your password. Make sure you use it wisely, Space Travelers, as a clam sets a password each and every night right here on the mighty SOR. Our website, currently under construction, is spacedoutradio.com, but don't worry, the Gavinator says it's almost done. Give it another 24 to 48 hours, we should be relaunching. Tonight we are talking the spiritual you. It happens first Tuesday of every month. We've given Geraldine Orozco the night off. She will be back on July 2nd. Geraldine is traveling with work right now, so we brought in a couple of friends, Reuben Langdon and Kerri Ann Sanders. Welcome back to the show. Thank you so much for being with us.
Glad to be here.
Thank you. Yes.
We talk a lot in our spiritual aspects about different dimensions, different areas of life, I guess, if we could put it that way. When we talk about dimensions, Reuben, are we talking about simultaneous dimensions that we are living in, or are we talking about spiritual dimensions that we are trying to ascend to?
For me, dimensions is more in terms of perception and spatial awareness. We're taught in science that we have 4 dimensions: up, down, left, right, and Einstein said the intertwined dimension of space-time. They're in the same dimension. So you hear 3rd dimension all the time, but that's sort of in our just conversational talk. But technically, we're in the 4th dimension, adding the component of space-time being intertwined as one dimension. But we're moving into very rapidly into a heightened awareness of other realities, other dimensional realities. You know, you hear big mainstream scientists talking about the multiverse now, and we have quantum computing that proves that we live in a multiverse, because we're literally making computations in other dimensions and bringing that information back to this dimension. And we have people like Kerri who can experience and have multi-dimensional experiences and downloads and see and talk to other entities, you know, fairies and gnomes and other extra-dimensional beings that are always there. It's just we've tuned ourselves to a reality where we have sort of blocked that out. So as we expand our awareness, we realize the multidimensionality of our existence, and then we can start communicating with these extra-dimensional beings that, for the most part, many of them have perceived us, but they just couldn't communicate with us because we couldn't perceive them. Sort of like an ant walking around the floor that is sort of doing his thing, but he doesn't see the big giant human walking through until we go and stomp through his anthill, and then, you know, then he's like, somebody just came through my stomped through my anthill, but probably even then, not even knowing really what happened. Oh, that was a big storm or something like that. Not having that dimensional space awareness. So now we're sort of putting our wings on as a human race, and we're flying up, and we're able to see things sort of like a hawk, not so linearly anymore, and we can see things sort of the start and the finish, but now we're able to see, wait, the start and the finish doesn't quite happen in this linear sense like we're sort of used to. We can actually go in, and like Kerri was just saying, we can go and do the healing in the past and then change the present by simply forgiveness, compassion, acceptance, shifting our perspective in that from the way we see space-time, and then doing the emotional internal work and feeling these emotions and letting them come through instead of suppressing them. And then now, in the now moment, creating a new reality that no longer has those dense, limited perspectives. And that's what we're doing. We're integrating all of this in this very short amount of time, and it's accelerating very fast. And we're having people like Kerri, and I just found out 2 years ago, oh my God, you started getting these downloads and all this information just in the last 2 years. So that's just a testament to the times we're in, and the more people who are coming online and accessing this information and getting this multidimensional perspective on life and who we are and how we navigate through this reality soup.
Kerri, when you talk about dimensions, are you talking about ascension or the different maybe parallel universes that are happening at the same time?
Well, yes, dimensions are within the mind. It's a perception, and they are parallel universes it's a timeline within our creative mind. And that's how I view it. And then, but I take it from not just the human body, but I take it more of a universal mind, and I'm looking at it from more of a cosmic perspective, and how the earth itself is a being, a living being, ergo Gaia, and has a consciousness, which in the pagan tradition is known as Sophia. And I see it as how we are all we're all neurons within Gaia or Sophia's consciousness, and we're creating these dimensions and realities, playing them out individually, and that's creating, these limitless dimensions and possibilities. But as a collective, what we've been doing through the ascension process is actually taking down, or limiting the dimensions, limiting the possibilities and timelines, and really condensing into the higher vibrational, because with every thought that you create, you're therefore creating a dimension. You're therefore creating a possible reality. And as we ascend in our consciousness and with compassion and love and grace, support and awareness, then we're limiting those dimensions from being so dualistic and bringing them to a harmonic balance. And not to say that you're going to be limited to 1 or 2 dimensions or 5 dimensions or 6 dimensions. That's not at all what fifth-dimensional consciousness, sixth-dimensional consciousness means. It just, what is happening is that we're bringing all of these possibilities, and we're getting rid of the ones that no longer serve the highest good of humanity in an overall expansive growth, and where we want to see as a collective, as a species, where we want to see the race go, over the next eon. And so that's really how I view a dimension. But everybody is different. Like that's the beauty of the mind. It's so expansive and creative, and that allows us to have this multidimensional perspective. And you do get a lot right now. There are a lot of star seeds that are here that are that have these higher consciousness templates within their body. They're not running so dualistic. Like if you come from a star location or a stargate or a star system location, say like me, I'm from Vega. I'm a Lyran from Vega. It is the 12th dimensional consciousness. So my energy body, my consciousness, it already resonates at a 12th dimensional consciousness. Whereas you're somebody that's from Orion, where it's a 4th dimensional density, then they're running more of a dualistic reality in their own personal life. So that takes the Orion starseed, what took me 2 years to consciously grasp and remember and align in my cellular memory, it will take them, 8, 9 years, 10 years, 20, some others, 20 years to get to that level of remembrance, because they started out at a lower density frequency within their energy body. So, and that plays into the dimensions that they're able to create. As you raise your own frequency, your own consciousness, and you raise that density, then you're able to have these more expansive, less dualistic dimensions, and creating this abundance that flows into you. So, and not to say that happens, like I actually had a really traumatic childhood and didn't have any conscious awareness whatsoever. I'm talking about whenever you come into your conscious awakening, whenever you choose to start walking the path of the disciple, or on your initiation, the path to higher spiritual consciousness. So I don't mean like when you come into this realm of reality, we all actually are under a veil of illusion. It's not until your planetary alignments snap in, or you have a catalytic event, that you actually align to your divine path. And if you choose to take that path too, that's another, it's not guaranteed. You have to make that decision to move forward. And there is a vast amount of star seeds here that are light workers, indigo, this is an indigo revolution, it's the 7th ray of consciousness that's streaming through. I won't go into all of that. That's another story, but this is why there's such a raise in consciousness, because there are a lot of, this is the time, this is the revelation, this is the rise. This is humanity's next step in evolution. So I think I went on a tangent. Yeah.
Well, I think it works.
Could I jump in?
Yeah, please do.
Could I jump in just for a second, just to tag off of that?
Yeah, definitely.
So I agree with everything that you said, Kerri, and yes, the Orion civilization, there's definitely coming from a heavier, denser reality from our galactic history and understanding, the Orion Wars and all that stuff. But I just wanted to say, not to put any limitations, and I don't think you really were necessarily, but it may come across that way for some of the audience members, that if your root race, so to say, is the Orion, it may take a little bit longer to get this information. But just to sort of remind people that and that we have quantum entanglement, and this is what means everybody here on this planet, we're all intertwined, and even though our root races and root star seeds might be from different dimensional realities and different, planetary alignments, once, the 100th monkey effect sort of kicks in, and we're waking up to that, and that's sort of what's happening immediately. I don't have to learn. Even though I may be an Orion root race, it's not going to take me that any longer, because I'll be able to then just by osmosis really connect to these energies and get this galactic information, get the downloads, and understand it instantaneously. So traditionally, in an older paradigm, it may have taken an Orion starseed 20 years to grasp this information. But where we're headed now and how we're coming online, like the information Kerri Ann has gotten in 2 years, we're gonna, that Orion guy down the street, he may not get it today, but I guarantee you probably in a couple of weeks or next month or maybe in maybe a year max, he'll be spewing the same information and just be so connected and intertwined with the rest of humanity. So we're all, don't feel bad, Orion civilization guys. We're all in this together, and we're all going to be, jamming and understanding this talk we're talking about very soon.
Perfect. I have a couple questions from our audience. I got a couple questions from our audience here, and we're going to start with Catherine. And Kerri, we'll get you to answer first. Catherine is asking, why does the universe play with such coincidences in people's lives?
So why is there so many synchronicities?
Why does the universe play with such coincidences in people's lives?
So a coincidence would be more like a happenstance or a synchronicity. And so when you're seeing these synchronistic events, it actually just lets you know that you're in alignment, that you're in flow, and that the fact that you're seeing these synchronicities play out in your life is a representation of the universe saying, you're doing great. I'm glad that you can see me seeing you. And that these people, these places, and these things that are happening to you are really happening through you, and now you're aware of it. And you've gotten out of your own way, and you allowed for the universal flow to be one with it. And so that's how you're seeing these happenstances or serendipitous events, or would you say miraculous happenstance, or what are the universe playing with you? That's what it is. It's just letting you know that you are in divine flow. That's what synchronicities are, because the universe is always working for you, through you. Not a victim, not to you, but through you. That would be what I would say.
Reuben, would you like to expand?
Awesome.
I don't think I could. That she summed it up and said it exactly the way I would say it. Maybe just throw in that in higher civilizations, and again, when I say higher, this is not putting a hierarchy on things, just saying more evolved, higher vibrational frequency civilizations. They actually exist 100% or 99% in synchronicity. Like they don't think or have to struggle or do the things that we sort of do on this earth, where we have to like make plans and do this and do that. And when you're in that synchronized state, you want a cup of coffee, you get the urge for a cup of coffee, so to say. And I'm like, oh, I would like a cup of coffee. And you look to your right, there's a cup of coffee. It's right there. It's waiting for me. And I don't even have to brew it. It's right there. I can drink a cup of coffee. These sort of, that's an extreme example, but if you think in sort of like where we're headed and using Star Trek I love Star Trek and using that as an example, and we have the replicator, and, in their civilization, in future Earth, projected, so to say, in this science fiction show, look, they have the technology to not have to go and get the coffee beans and grind them and ship them to wherever and then make the cup of coffee, but they have a replicator that they can just simply walk up to and push a button and bam, you got a cup of coffee. So that's sort of a synchronicity in a way, and showing, and I'm just using that as an example, to show where we're headed in this idea of synchronicity and how we all find our place. And as we start to embrace that we all have pieces of the greater puzzle, and we all are pieces of the greater puzzle. And when we can tune into our true beingness of who we are and not try to make everybody doctor and lawyers, then we can start to embrace our trueness, by following our excitement and our passion, and then by default, the universe will provide us these synchronicities, because that is, yes, we are living, breathing, universal pieces of the puzzle, and we are here to express the universe, right? And the universe is going to give us all the tools that she wants us to have in order so we can expand what she wants. And I believe that's what we're doing here. We're born to be synchronized and harmonized, and we've just forgotten how to do it, and now we're remembering.
All right, we got about 2 minutes left before we need to go to break here. I want to get Sharon's question in. Reuben, we'll start with you on this. If we got to carry it across, we will. She is saying, so are we living in one multiverse or in several multiverses? How do we know we've been tapped into other dimensions?
Well, I mean, multiverse by definition means it's multiple. So I don't think one multiverse, doesn't quite work in that definition. And I would just follow up with what Kerri Ann said before, is if you can imagine it exists. If it's a perspective, we have 7 billion plus multiverses on the planet right now, and that's just with the human perspectives, not to take in all of the other animals and plants and other living and non-living beings that the fae, the gnomes, the other multidimensional other beings that also have their perspectives. So again, with a universe being each and one of us having our own universe, like we are our own walking black holes, sucking in the light and then projecting it at the same time. There's an infinite number of multiverses, and they're all, we're sort of on I call it the cantina here, and we're intertwining and integrating and experiencing, colliding our universes in this great experiment of planet Earth.
I like to say you in verse, which is verse is the word for rhythm. So it's you in rhythm.
Yes.
Play on word. I'm playing
That's
on
catchy.
Word.
That is catchy.
And when you look at the science behind it, if you break it down to the quantum, we are all just singing a song. This is sound, vibration, frequency. Nikola Tesla, what did he say? If you want to understand the mysteries of the universe, look into sound, vibration, and frequency.
Right.
And that's what we are. We are a song.
Let's continue this chat right afterwards with Sharon's question. Reuben Langdon, Kerri Ann Sanders filling in for Geraldine Orozco on The Spiritual You, first Tuesday of every month on Spaced Out Radio. We'll be right back.
Coming up this September 21st and 22nd, all UFO eyes will be focused on Toronto for the 4th Annual Alien Cosmic Expo. Come listen to some of the biggest names and experiencers in ufology. Travis Walton, Paul Hellyer, Richard Dolan, Paula Harris, Grant Cameron, Randy Kramer, and Spaced Out Radio's own Dave Scott. Tickets are on sale now at aliencosmicexpo.com.
Did you know Spaced Out Radio runs 7 days a week? Hi there, this is Tessa Nicole Thomas, and I'm here to take you on a paranormal journey each Saturday and Sunday night. Why change the station when you have it all right here? Together, we'll hang out and share some strange and scary stories. And don't forget, we have Psychic Sundays as well, so come tune in Spaced Out Weekend. We get going at 9 p.m. Pacific, midnight Eastern, only at spacedoutradio.com, where we own the night.
A timepiece is a reflection of who you are, and what better way to show off the real you than with an Escape watch? Escape is a lifestyle brand accessorizing your days and nights. Choose to escape and create the life of discovery that you deserve. Dream, play, unite with your own personalized Escape watch. Head to escapewatches.com. There is no time like the present to enjoy your escape. Use promo code SMF2017 for your 20% discount today.
Heading to Vancouver and looking for a night on the town? The Moose Vancouver is the bar that never stops rocking until 2 a.m. every night. The Moose has great food with everything on the menu from $6.95 to $8.95. Fantastic, vibrant staff and rock and roll that will bring you back to when the music was real, the hair was long, and the guitars were rocking. Get your party on at the Moose Vancouver, the official party bar of Spaced Out Radio.
Every night on Spaced Out Radio, we have places for you to hang out. Hi, this is Carl. Join our SOR Space Travelers group on Facebook for live chat. On Twitter, using hashtag Spaced Out Radio, you can also join us in our Spreaker chat room. Check us out on Instagram at Dave Scott SOR. All of our archives are free on YouTube at Spaced Out Radio. By the way, I'll be watching you at your window until you do. Bye!
Are you intrigued by Paranormal Talk Radio? You'll love the new Paranormal Radio app from TalkStream Live. You'll find a great selection of talk shows covering UFOs, ghosts, strange phenomena, and much more. Download the Paranormal Radio app now and start listening to the very best in paranormal talk entertainment, including the network you're listening to right now. The Paranormal Radio app, free in Google Play and the iOS App Store.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7 with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
Are you tired of being blocked, shadow banned, or placed in jail for simply posting your thoughts on social media? Social Media Freedom can take care of that for you. Social Media Freedom is the newest and one of the best free new apps that allows you the freedom to post what you want, when you want. It takes seconds to download from your app store. Come join the tribe at Social Media Freedom. It's time to set yourself free.
Hello, this is your guitar man, Ron Bumblefoot Thaw, and I have to tell you, I love the response I get for Little Brother is Watching from Spaced Out Radio fans. It's amazing how music can inspire and make people think deeper about what's going on in the supernatural world. You can head over to my website, bumblefoot.com, to check out my music, my guitar workshops, my touring, even check out some of the hot sauces that I'm working on. And make sure you keep on listening, because with Spaced Out Radio, you know Little Brother is watching.
Looking for the stories of the strange and weird that you will find hard to find anywhere else? Check out the SOR Newswire on our website. Our writers, led by Captain Shirk, are scouring the world for the oddest and most bizarre stories we can find. Everything from weird crime to suspenseful and paranormal. We're working hard for you to bring you the most intriguing news of your day. Check out the SOR Newswire at spacedoutradio.com today. Come get spooked at the 4th Annual Forest Moon Paracon in Cedar-Woolley, Washington, Saturday, September 28th. UFOs, ghosts, aliens, Bigfoot. Speakers include Mike Morin and Jason Jordan, R. Keith Andrews, and Dave Scott from Spaced Out Radio, and so much more. There will be workshops and a VIP roundtable. Get early bird tickets now at fmparacon.com.
Looking for a place to advertise at a very reasonable cost? Look no further than Spaced Out Radio. SpacedOutRadio.com has an advertising tab that you can click to check out our daily, weekly, and monthly packages to play on the radio, or our website including social media. From commercial spots to banners, we have it all. Check out our competitive pricing today.
Hey, this is Canadian Paranormal Investigator Mike Moore. The third Wednesday of every month, I'll be teaming up with Dave Scott to bring you Ghosts of the Great White North. Each month, we will bring on guests from across Canada to discuss their ghostly encounters. Canada is a paranormal hotbed with stories you've never heard, so we're going to bring them to you. So get comfy on your Chesterfield, grab a donut, and join us, eh?
Coming soon to our website, spacedoutradio.com, is the SOR Space Travelers Club. For just $5 a month, you can get into a private area on our site where you can hang with other listeners in our chat room, post in our forum, and check out a bunch of exclusive content and store that won't be found anywhere else, including a nightly after-show party with Dave. It's going to be the best $5 a month you're going to spend. The SOR Space Travelers, only at spacedoutradio.com.
We pass the halfway point of Spaced Out Radio tonight. I am your host, Dave Scott, sitting in the captain's chair of SOR headquarters. Reminder, if you've missed portions of this show or others, you can always re-listen to them on our archives at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. They're free for you. Just do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. Our website, spacedoutradio.com, currently under construction, but not for long. The Gavinator says he's almost ready for launch. We'll be ready, maybe, within the next 1 to 2 days. Reuben Langdon and Kerri Ann Sanders are filling in for a traveling Geraldine Orozco on the Spiritual You, which happens the first Tuesday of every month. And this hour, or this half hour, we're going to get into channeling spirit, channeling guides, channeling energy, consciousness. Kerri Ann, Reuben, welcome back.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Now, during the break, you started talking about channeling, Kerri Ann. Channeling goes in so many different directions. How do you break it down for someone who, when they think of channeling, they think of having a remote control in their hands and flipping channels as fast as they can?
hey, if that's how they want to visualize it, then you know what, that's how they can visualize it. You can do it. You can. If that's what it takes. Some people are visual learners. Some people are audio. Some people, have to do the hands-on thing through, experience. That's wisdom, right? But as far as just summing it up, is channeling for one. And I'm just going to put this out there because when you get to a certain level, you just understand that you're no longer channeling another entity per se. You're tapping into that frequency. It's more of like a radio, and these are frequencies that we're all able to tap into. And so you're really fine tuning your energy body, your awareness, whether it be your claircognizance, which is a knowing, or your clairvision. Maybe you get the clairvoyant, where you're getting visions, or your clairsentient, where you're feeling. Everybody, brings in these messages, these frequencies, or quote unquote channeling a different form. It's not always an auditory. You don't always hear it. Or it's clairaudient. That'd be hearing like voices, and it's not always necessarily a different voice that you're hearing in your head. But sometimes people do, and that's okay too. But when I hear clairaudient, it's in my own voice, and whenever I personally am in the receiving mode, as you can hear Abraham Hicks speak on, or Esther Hicks, who channels Abraham. She's talk about the law of Abraham Hicks. Check that out as well. But you get into the receiving mode, and I personally just tap into my higher self in all dimensions, frequencies, and celestial bodies that I have part of, like whether it be a galactic council, or whether it be a certain stargate, or maybe it's just in another dimension that's here with on this earth plane, you know, the elemental or mineral frequencies or angelic realms in the sixth dimension. You know, these are just, what they are dimensions of thought and frequency that you attune to energetically. So that's how I think I'm breaking it down pretty simple on that. But, you know, and there's also negative too, okay? So you can tune into the demonic energies as well. So when you have negative thoughts, suicidal thoughts, or, you know, just like, I'm not good enough, or you have these like negative thoughts of, you can't do that, what are you wasting your time? You're actually tuning into the lower vibratory frequencies, or they're called demonic realms. And you just have to say, that's not me, that doesn't serve me, and that's not who I am as a soul, because my soul loves me. And if it's negative, it's not love, and therefore it's not you, and it doesn't serve you, and you let it go, and you move on from that. So that's how you can stay out of the lower realm. And that's how you know when you're in these lower realms. And, you know, we are trained in this projection reality that we're in. We're trained to listen to those frequencies, because that's what, you know, is really omitted off these TVs and cell phones and radio towers. I don't even get into the 5G they're doing right now. But, you know, that's what is projected, right, are these lower vibratory frequencies, the microwave frequencies, quote unquote, microwave, right? They're just, and so if you're wanting to channel into the higher dimensions and tap into that, you're gonna get into the receiving mode, and that comes from taking a breath, or maybe 3 or 4, and setting your intention, having questions, or an intent, which is question. So having that intent and what you want to channel through, and just allowing for the energies to come through you, and however that shows up for you. And it's not always going to be the same. It doesn't always have to be auditory. And the feeling, like if you get the goosebumps, or if you get the chills, like you said something and you got the chills up your leg, you know, it's the right side or the left side. Is it the masculine or the feminine? Like and that would be more of the experience. You know, some people have to learn that firsthand experience, and it usually is the empathic people, this clairsentient. It was the empath, and they feel more. You know, they don't understand how to trust themselves again, and that comes into the claircognizance, that just knowing, like, well, you know, who won the Red Sox, you know, playoffs in 99 or whatever World Cup, you know, and if you're not a baseball follower, but you instantaneously know, you know, it was the Red Sox or the Yankees, you're like, oh, it was the Red Sox. Don't quote me, and I don't know baseball, and I don't know why this is coming through, but it is. But I'm just saying, like, if you had known the answer and you don't know why, that would be more of the claircognizance, you know, just knowing streaming through you. So, yeah. Did I do good?
Reuben, channeling. Do you channel a bit? Do you channel?
I have a show called Interview with Ed, and most of the show, there's sometimes where I don't, but most of the show is interviewing people who, you know, claim to channel and go into an altered state of consciousness and bring through other entities. And I think Kerri Ann said it perfectly. In reality, we're not bringing through, you know, nobody's being possessed. It's a willingness to attune to this, you know, music that we just talked about before the break, to a song that already exists in space-time, because we know in the quantum realms, all possibilities are possible. They already exist. And everything that happened can happen, already did happen. Time is illusion. We've heard this a million times. So we're just simply tuning to a song that already exists and playing it through our musical instruments called the human body. And we are very advanced pieces of technology, and most people, in fact all people, are channeling all the time. We're just not aware of it. Mm-hmm. We have this divine energy from Gaia, from our solar system, and then our universe that's created us. And, you know, we have chemicals firing and all this stuff happening, and we are living, breathing channelers for extra dimensional energy. And when you break down the science, that's what it is. Where does this come from? Where's that thought in the head? It's not just chemicals firing and creating this awareness of who am I? There's something behind the veil, and now science is starting to recognize this. It's called consciousness. Where is that consciousness coming from? Well, it's coming from behind the veil. It's coming from the real version of us, or the other version of us. Not to say that this is any less real or more real than that version, but it's, the consciousness is surrounding the body. It's creating the body. It's creating this experience. Therefore, the soul isn't in the body. The soul is creating it. So we sort of got our terminology a little bit backwards, but we're coming to the realization that we are all channeling all the time, and it's just having the conscious awareness. And what channelers do is they put their attention and focus in a specific area, and they can connect to the song that already exists to bring through divine transmissions or demonic transmissions, whichever one they want to bring in through. But, we're here on this show talking about the divine awesomeness of unionizing all of the energies on this planet and this cosmic soup and creating harmony. And, that's what we're doing here. So, yes, absolutely, we're all channelers. We all have the ability to do it, and we just need to shift our focus to do it.
The being that you channel, is it only one being, or is it extraterrestrial? Is it spiritual?
Me?
Yes.
Or Kerri Ann? Oh, me. I don't have a focused channeling skill set like some of the others. So I have fallen into the channeling state, sometimes on accident, and some divine information has come through. I've only once been able to identify, well, maybe I take that back, maybe once or twice been able to identify the specific stream of consciousness, the energy that I'm actually connecting to, and knowing, just having that knowingness, that clairsentience, right, of where it's coming from. But most of the time when I'm channeling through, my art, through my film work, it's just this energy, this flow that you get into, and people, they call it the flow state. There's books written on this, mainstream books from Jason Silva and Color and others that are talking about how, from Silicon Valley people to sports enthusiasts to the Navy and Navy SEALs, getting into these flow states where there's no question. You're just doing it, and you're just in there, and we've all been there usually when we're having a good time, right? Like now, not even knowing what time it is, and the time just flying by. We're getting into that flow state of the words just coming right through without having to think about what's next, and that's sort of a process of this channeling. Yeah.
That's the
Kerri,
problem with the human. The human tries to step in. I was just making a joke on that. It's like when your human tries to get in the way, that logic mind, that linear programmable mind, which is beautiful and amazing in itself, we call that the ego. But when it tries to step in and say, well, this doesn't make sense, and well, I gotta logic this, and I gotta understand that, it's like, no, man, you don't. You really don't. And it's okay to not be just one way. It's okay to have multiple different streams of thought and all happen simultaneously. And, like, I'm a Sagittarius sun, so I don't know if you're too many people out there listen that are into astrology, but they're going to, if you want to look up Sagittarius and Gemini, which is my opposite sign, it's just my earth sign, which is very important in astrology too, all the time overlooked, but very important. We're on the star. But anyways, it's see, there you go. There's what multidimensional thought looks like. It's going into one thought and going into the next one, and then somehow they come back together and create this beautiful synastry, this story or starry, and that's that whole multi-universe and multiple frequencies, and it's channeling through not just one or entity or because an entity just represents a frequency, because that's how it's not necessarily just a being. It is a being of frequency, just like the creative matrix is an entity, just like a car is an entity. It's a frequency. It's, or a road. It's a frequency. It's a creation, and you're tapping into that. So I think I'm going all over the place. Again, this is a Sagittarius, and I'm always like, I got 51 million things going on in my mind. So,
try being a Gemini.
I agree with everything. Yeah, see, there you go. You guys talk about it. Divine messengers of God right there. That's God's source consciousness is flowing through your words.
Amen,
you speak,
sister.
You communicate.
Amen.
You are. That's why we get along so well.
We got about 6 minutes before we're going to go to break at the top of the hour. There's a lot of people out there, Kerri Ann, who would love to try and channel spirit or their guides or some sort of, ethereal life force. Do you recommend this project or this attempt for people who've never done it before?
Yes, absolutely. Jump in the water. Don't put your toe in it, jump in it. But I always suggest going out into nature. If you're not familiar with channeling, I would suggest getting underneath a tree and doing some breath work, really relaxing, no cellular phones around you. Just find yourself in a form of nature, away from civilization, as far away as possible, and find yourself in a oneness state with the environment and the elements, and just allow for whatever it is to arise. Most of the time, whenever you're trying to channel for the first time, you're going to have a lot of things just come to your thought, to your mind, and that's what we call downloads. Those are downloads, is whenever you have like a vision pop into your focal point, or whenever you have thoughts that you're like, oh, and you're inspired to write them down. That's channeling as well. And, so take a pen and paper with you, and write everything down that just starts to flow through. And it's auto writing, and it also helps you to clear your mental chatter and make space for new thoughts to come in. It's like, rearranging your closet, getting rid of old clothes you no longer wear, because then you can fill it back up with beautiful new items that are more in style and suit your new personality, So I definitely suggest getting out and channeling. And I say getting out because I really do mean that you need to get out and go ground and be around a tree. Merging with a tree is very important. The trees on this planet carry a natural fifth-dimensional consciousness. So it'll really help enhance your connection.
I never really believed that until I moved into the forest where I am now. And as weird as this may sound, and as peak woo as this may sound, have you ever felt the energy of hugging a tree? It's amazing.
It is.
Yep.
It is.
You're talking to two tree huggers, I believe.
Yeah. No, I'm not talking, and for our audience, I'm not talking, the hippie type tree huggers that we make fun of and we point fingers at. I'm not talking about them, but seriously, if you are in a very nice spiritual space and you go hug a tree, that tree, you'll feel the love of that tree coming right back off into you. I've done it myself. It blew me away when that happened. I never expected it to happen, but to feel that tree's energy come into me, it's something I suggest everybody to try out.
Yeah.
My first channeling was under a tree. My first
See,
channeling
look at
definitely
this.
came
Yeah.
through. Yep. So I same thing. Yeah, nature. Setting the intention, but you really can't go wrong with nature. Nature is, we are natural beings, and the earth is naturally created. These amazing animals and plants and things that we can connect to at any time, and those beings themselves are multidimensional in their aspects, and just like we're multidimensional, we can connect to the bird or the plant or the insects, and follow the stream, the consciousness stream, to planets and civilizations that are highly evolved versions of the plant, of the bird, the avian beings, the insect, the mantis beings, the dogs and the cats and the lyrans and the dog star, the Syrians and dog beings that exist out there as well as our aquatic animals. So all of our beings on this planet in nature all have connections to our star families. And we can use that as permission slip to go into these altered states of consciousness and connect and use our imagination and travel through the cosmos.
You can also learn from the beings whom you channel, too.
Yes.
From the beings, that's
higher
it.
states of consciousness, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But that's another thing you got to go into with dimensions. It's like, is that being not just another version of you in another dimension, in a higher timeline? And that's something that you have to come into an awareness of as well. You will be channeling other versions of self or soul self.
Most of the channelers I interview, they all, and I think all of them actually, they all say that they're sort of, some people channel many different beings, but most of them say that the being that they connect to the most, or the beings, are other versions of them in different dimensions, different timelines. So I think that, again, us being multidimensional beings, probably when we do make contact with various beings, whether in the astral or, moving forward as we get more and more contact, physical contact, probably would be other versions of ourselves, just because of the harmonics, the frequency of who we are. Already we have that stream of consciousness that connects us all. And when you go up the ladder, of course, we're all one. But, yeah, you would probably be connecting to your other self before you connect to someone else.
Very true. Reuben Langdon, Kerri Ann Sanders, you guys sit back, hold tight. You guys are doing awesome tonight. Absolutely awesome. We are lucky to have them for another 30 minutes here on The Spiritual You. Reuben Langdon, Kerri Ann Sanders, filling in for a traveling Geraldine Orozco tonight. More of your questions as well coming up on Spaced Out Radio in Hour 3. At spacedoutradio.com, we have a little bit of everything for you to stay up late. So while you're there, check out our SOR Newswire, where our team brings you stories of the weird and strange to the WTF from around the globe. News on Bigfoot, UFOs, paranormal, Darwinian-type crime tales. It's the stories that the mainstream media usually won't touch. Well, we got them all on the SOR Newswire, only at spacedoutradio.com.
Come hang out with Spaced Out Radio, where we own the night. This is Carl. You can follow Dave on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio, and during the show, use the hashtag Spaced Out Radio to chat with us live. On Instagram, at Dave Scott SOR. On Facebook, give our page a like, Spaced Out Radio Show. SOR archives are free on YouTube at Spaced Out Radio. Come join us, or I will come join you. See you at your window.
Get your horns up with me on Spaced Out Radio. This is Ron Bumblefoot Thal. Come tune in to SOR, where you can hear me rock out with Little Brother Is Watching, the official theme song of Spaced Out Radio. And then come on over to bumblefoot.com, where you can find out about my tour schedule, my music, and everything else. Bumblefoot.com keeps you up to date on what I'm doing and the best way to stay in touch with my music and music camps. Sign up for my newsletter at bumblefoot.com, and remember, Little Brother Is Watching.
Find your escape where time has no limits. It's about living today and cherishing the heritage of yesterday. A spirit of adventure for what is new, with the nostalgia of the past. Your timepiece is a reflection of who you are. Life surrounded by beauty from the world around us to the soul within. escapewatches.com. There is no time like the present to enjoy your escape. Use promo code SMF2017 for your 20% discount today.
The Call of the Wild is in Vancouver. The Moose Vancouver is one of the hottest bars and restaurants in the city. Open until 2 a.m. nightly, the Moose will rock you like a hurricane all night long. Great food with everything on the menu at $6.95 near the corner of Nelson and Granville. Get your horns up and come rock with us. The Moose Vancouver, the official rocking bar of Spaced Out Radio.
Canada's largest UFO conference is ready to roll in Toronto this September 21st and 22nd at the Alien Cosmic Expo. This year is about the experience. Listen to the stories of Dave Scott, Travis Walton, Paula Harris, Grant Cameron, Ryan Stacey, Richard Dolan, Leslie Mitchell-Clark, and more. Get your tickets now at aliencosmicexpo.com.
Visit purpleplates.com today. For over 40 years, the Purple Energy Plates have been delivering amazing results for their many customers. Inspired by the great genius Nikola Tesla, the harmony, healing, and energetic effects of the plates have proven over and over to be beneficial and often miraculous to thousands of customers. Check their site for daily specials and choose from their many energy products. You won't be sorry. Visit them today at purpleplates.com.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7 with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
From the mile-high mountains of Colorado to all of you around the world, this is Tessa Nicole Thomas, and I invite you to stick around spacedoutradio.com for Saturday and Sunday nights where I host Spaced Out Weekend. Let me take you on a wild ride of weird and strange topics from ghosts and ETs to remote viewing, psychic phenomena, and so much more. We get going at 9 p.m. Pacific, midnight Eastern Time on Spaced Out Weekend, where we own the night.
The freedom to post what you want, when you want. That's the social media freedom you need. Social Media Freedom is the free app in your app store. No need to worry about going to jail or being shadow banned any longer. It's the freedom to say what you feel. The freedom to know Big Brother isn't watching. It's the way social media is supposed to be. Social Media Freedom. It's time to set yourself free. Download from your app store today.
We are getting ready to relaunch the SOR Space Travelers Club at spacedoutradio.com. For $5 a month, you can join us for a plethora of features found nowhere else. Hang out in a private chat room during the show and after party. You can check out some exclusive content and a store specifically for you, as well as a private listener forum where you can post your thoughts, stories, and pictures. The SOR Space Travelers Club, coming soon to spacedoutradio.com.
Come get spooked at the 4th Annual Forest Moon Paracon in Cedar-Woolley, Washington, Saturday, September 28th. UFOs, ghosts, aliens, Bigfoot. Speakers include Mike Morin and Jason Jordan, R. Keith Andrews, and Dave Scott from Spaced Out Radio, and so much more. There will be workshops and a VIP roundtable. Get early bird tickets now at fmparacon.com.
You know, it's hard being the bad man of ufology, but that's just the way that I like it. This is Chris George Zuger, and I'll be hanging out with Dave Scott and SOR scientist Chris Cogswell for Reality Paranormal, the second Wednesday of every month. And our job is to break it down and come to conclusions as to what is really going on in the supernatural world. I'd love for you to join us right here on Spaced Out Radio.
You hear footsteps in the empty room above you. A rocking chair begins rocking by itself. Don't be afraid of the things that go bump in the night. Reach for Spirit Storybox. The iPhone app the Huffington Post UK called the only ghost hunting app you will ever need. Spirit Storybox. The spirits are telling their stories. Are you listening?
Are you intrigued by Paranormal Talk Radio? You'll love the new Paranormal Radio app from TalkStream Live. You'll find a great selection of talk shows covering UFOs, ghosts, strange phenomena, and much more. Download the Paranormal Radio app now and start listening to the very best in paranormal talk entertainment, including the network you're listening to right now, the Paranormal Radio app, free in Google Play and the iOS App Store.
On the first Tuesday of every month, I encourage you to come along for a journey with me, Geraldine Orozco, on The Spiritual You. Together, we will take a look at how to access the highest expression of yourself and change your life. Consciousness, ET contact, health, and wellness, we can talk about it all. So come along for a spiritual ride with me, Geraldine Orozco, on The Spiritual You, only on Spaced Out Radio.
Would you like to connect with us? Head to spacedoutradio.com for all your latest show info. Now, back to Dave Scott and SOR.
Welcome back to the third and final hour of Spaced Out Radio. Tonight, I am your host, Dave Scott. Good to have you with us. Tomorrow night on the show, William Pullen, Chris Cogswell are here for Reality Paranormal, 9:06 Pacific, 12:06 a.m. Eastern at spacedoutradio.com. Hi to everyone listening in on our terrestrial affiliates, KDNF, AM 1560 in Dangerfield, Texas. Down in Noonan, Georgia, WQEE 99.1 FM, UPRN 107.7 FM in New Orleans, KZFX 93.7 FM in Ridgecrest, California, and up in Oregon, KDUN AM 1030 in Reedsport. On the digital side, we're proud to be a part of Revolution Radio. Thank you so much for hosting us. And don't forget, all of our archives are free at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Just do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club. Valiety. Valiety is your password. Use it wisely, Space Travelers, as the Clam sets the password each and every night, right here on the mighty SOR. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, currently under construction, but don't worry, friends. The Gavinator has it under control. Says another day or two, we're going to launch. For the final time tonight, we introduce our guests, Kerri Ann Sanders and Reuben Langdon. They are filling in for a business traveling Geraldine Orozco on The Spiritual You, which happens the first Tuesday of every month. Geraldine will be back on Tuesday, July 2nd. Reuben, Kerri Ann, thank you so much for filling in for Geraldine tonight. Really appreciate your time.
Glad to be here.
Thanks for having me, for sure.
A lot of people try to tie the paranormal to what we do, looking for spiritual ascension. Is there a tie-in between spirits, UFOs, ETs, cryptids, interdimensional beings, and what we are looking for within ourselves? Reuben?
Absolutely. I mean, we are in the interconnected universe where everything is connected. And that's been a big exploration in my work with this series. And coincidentally, interviewing Adam Apollo today, who has sort of come up with the unified field of everything, you know, where you take all of religion, belief systems, numerology, colors, and geometry. And when you look at them and you look at the archetypes, the stories, you look at all of this, it's all interconnected. The I Ching from China, the Star of David, when you look at the numbers and geometry, especially, everything syncs up, you know. The mysteries of the 3, 6, and 9. You can find this in ancient texts and different civilizations, the flower of life, you know, all of this stuff, it's all interconnected. And from emotions to chakras to different belief systems to the in the Bible, the stories we hear, all of it is interconnected. And therefore, of course, it's all connected as far as our multidimensionality. And I may have strolled off a little bit on what the exact question is, but I think in a nutshell, it's all connected for sure.
How about you, Kerri Ann?
If I said no, would it be funner?
You say whatever you want. Say whatever you want.
I feel like I got my twin on the other side here. At least perspective-wise. But no, everything, it's all interwoven. But I mean, it's about the individual and what it takes for them to connect to their spiritual side. May it be an extraterrestrial, may it be, the elemental realms and fairies and gnomes, or maybe it's gardening, or maybe, it's the paranormal. Maybe that's how they find their path. Like, everybody has their way of cellular remembrance. And yes, everything is interwoven. Everything. This is a giant net of the all in the universe, the multi-universes, and tying together. But as far as like how they play out, yes, it's just a matter of the person's perspective and what they're projecting into their reality to create that experience that will trigger the remembrance of who and why they are really here.
Does that also include past lives, reincarnation?
Oh, that past lives and reincarnation. See, there has been a lot of stigma in that, and this is probably where I might lose people. But your DNA, whether it be your carbon-based DNA, which is where your lineage, your bloodline lineage ancestors are at. This is where you get the incarnation and reincarnation concepts of connection there. So your bloodline that runs, the carbon-based blood that runs through your body, that is where your ancestors are. Your memories of your ancestors are, and certain gifts and talents and skills that you carry. And then within the plasma of that blood is which is a water base, which is 55% volume. Okay, the plasma is 55% of the blood's volume, and it's mainly of water. The plasma is mainly made of water, and there's 700 other proteins that are within it. But that is the crystalline DNA. That is your celestial DNA, your energetic vibration, your energetic DNA. That is stamped from the plasma, the energy field whenever you incarnate here. That's what's stamped from the planetary alignment. Or you can even go even deeper and say the rays of consciousness, the seven rays of consciousness that are streaming, through specific constellations that are then streamed into these planets that, give us these vibrations within the DNA. And so that's where that's your celestial, that's your extraterrestrial, per se, energy, ancestral lineage and memory, and it's called your crystalline memories. And that's how you're tapping into the Akash. That Akash is within you, all of it, whether it be crystalline or celestial, or whether it be carbon-based and ancestral. It's all within you, just like the stars and the planets. Everything that you project, everything that you see in this universe is already residing within you. You are just taking these and projecting it outwardly through your eyes to see, because we are in a universe where you must see it to believe it, and therefore it is. That's how we create. And through our senses, we experience this creation. I'm on another tangent. I'm sorry. Yes.
That's okay. Reuben, reincarnation.
Yeah, so the way it's been sort of told to me, and again, there's different perspectives and ways to look at this. But if we go from sort of the scientific point of time is an illusion and in the holographic universe, instead of the how we traditionally see time as being linear, if everything is happening at the same time, these are actually simultaneous timelines. And this is why I think in this current hologram illusion that we're in right now, we have bleed-throughs in energetic bleed-throughs through the different frequencies from these other lives that are frequency relevant to the current situation and timeline that we're in. So I think we're constantly shifting our past and our future depending on the now moment. So we have glimpses into these other lifetimes from depending on where we are now. And we have, and I use this as an example, for example, the remote viewers from the military SRI projects and these things back in the 60s and 70s sort of remote viewed and project into the future a doom and gloom type scenario. And then, the cabals and the governments and the military industrial complex sort of took a lot of that information and started building bunkers because they thought World War III was going to happen and we were all going to be desecrated. Little did they know that they're dealing with the frequency and vibration of that now moment of the 1960s. So over time, even from day to day, our frequency and vibration shifts. Our past is not the same past it was yesterday. Our now moment yesterday has a different past than our now moment now, if I'm making any sense. I know I might be losing your audience. You can talk about losing the audience. But everything is shifting based on the now moment. And this is how we can shift our now moment by looking into the past. And again, we talked about this earlier, sending forgiveness, healing, and compassion to the past versions of ourselves in this life and in other lives to then shift the frequency of the now moment. It happens the other way around too. So if we project ourselves into the future based on the now moment frequency, yes, that's a probable future, but that's going to shift tomorrow. And this is why telling the future is so highly unlikely and highly, the probabilities of telling an exact thing happening, it's very difficult. And this is why psychics and people get this wrong all the time. Now, great events are a little bit easier to project or predict because they're on a global scale, maybe more apt to happen. But even then, look at the remote viewers of the 60s and 70s going into the future. So talking about reincarnation, it gets a little bit, difficult in how you perceive it. But for me, and using that lens to see the past lives and future lives and whatnot, for me, it helps me understand that, yes, there are these bleed-throughs of past lives, and I've had them. I've had regressions, and I've seen me being a busty woman, dancing, doing belly dancing in a cave somewhere in the Arabic world. I don't know where my surroundings were, but and being lifted up in by big strong men, and I'm like, what's this? But again, that's a frequency match for maybe something I was energetically processing in that now moment, and again, relevant to the time. So a lot of us, and this has been told through my own downloads and through also the interviews, we get attached to a specific story that actually may not be our story 2 days from now. So that past version of us helps us. It's coming in and it's coming through, and we're getting these visions to help us navigate the current time moment. But let's try not to get too attached to these things, because that may not be your past tomorrow, if you know what I mean. Talking about the Mandela effect and these kinds of things too.
Yeah. Got a question coming from the chat room for you, Kerri Ann, and this is from Sharon in Arkansas. She is asking, how do you ground and protect yourself when you channel? Any affirmations you say before you begin?
Hi, Sharon. I love her energy. Yes, I do. Typically, I call in my elemental, celestial, angelic, and all my celestial to be with me, present with me, guide me, surround me, protect me, love me, and I call on pure source light energy. And I hold this feeling. And so I have 2 kids. And so it's easier for me to hold a feeling of love than some person that may not have children. And mine are relatively young. So I hold the image of, my kids, my daughter learning how to walk and watching her stumble and like fall, and holding my son in my arms. And, so I hold these feelings. And as I'm saying, and I'm calling in all of my support, and I hold that feeling, this love, this motherly love in my heart, and then I allow for the messages to come through, and that's how I do it. That's how I ground. Whenever I don't necessarily have to be outdoors anymore. When I started, I needed to be grounded in the trees, or at the time I smoked cigarettes, and I had to find grounding in the tobacco, and to keep me grounded. And now I find my grounding coming from my knowing. If I say mineral, I know I'm instantly connected to the minerals within my body. If I say angelic, I know I'm instantly connected to the angelic realm or consciousness. Or I can think of the angels, which are actually interpreted in the biblical sense, but they actually mean the four stars, 4 royal fixed stars, and that presence, that angelic presence that they bring, which are the stars again. And I know what I'm tapping into now, but yeah, I call on all of these and the spirits and the ancestors that are all within me to be present, to be there, to guide me. So again, I think it's repeating myself, but yes, that's what I like to do.
How about for you, Reuben?
Well, I'm just a few steps behind Kerri Ann, so I usually go into my meditations out in nature. I try to do them indoors and in the cities and whatnot, and I have a difficult time doing it. So I still have to physically move myself into nature, and I have spots. And luckily, I live in Big Bear, California, which is beautiful and close enough to the city, but far enough to really get some good nature up here and beautiful scenery. So yeah, I go into my nature spots. I'm a Wim Hof practitioner for a few years now, so I do a lot of breathing techniques, and that helps me sort of get into that zone. But yeah, I think for me, just physically being there, I'm connecting to the elementals and to the wind and to the directions, and I can see the sky and I can feel the earth, and basically making the same connections, but doing it in that more physical sense. That I'm still at that stage.
All right, we got time for a few more. Go ahead.
If I lived in Big Bear, California, I'd be out in the woods all the time too. I am in sunny Florida, and it's not just sunny; it's a little swampy. And by the time it hits 11 o'clock here, I'm sweating from all crevices of my body. So I have found being indoors and finding ways. So you're not behind or anything. You're perfectly exactly where you need to be, and that's beautiful. So
thank you. Thank you very much.
All right. Another question from PBR here in the chat room. He is asking you, Kerri Ann, what is your familiar that you mentioned?
My familiar?
Yes.
My familiar, like my family, like my star family.
Yes.
Okay. So my family is, I'm a Vega Syrian starseed, and Pleiadian. Those are my main energies that I carry, and Antares. So I carry those, and therefore Aldebaran. So I've got Antares, Aldebaran, Sirius, Vega, Lyra, and Pleiades. Those are the main, and I have a lot. It's just because of the locations on my chart. But yes, those are the main ones that I identify with energetically, those templates that I carry. And it has, I connect a lot with, since I live I live on an island out here in Florida, so I connect deeply with the Syrian energy and the Lyran with all the birds, and Lyran's usually thought of as the feline energy, but to me it represents more of the avian, and I identify with the avian as my natural or root race would be avian.
Right.
So the bird tribe, I'd be an owl.
I'd like to be a bird tribe. I'd like to be a bird. Yeah. That would be fun. Time is winding down. Reuben, as we get closer to time winding down, because we only got about just over 2.5 minutes until we got to say goodnight to both you and Kerri Ann, why don't you tell people where they can find your website, your television show on Gaia, and anything else you're working on?
Yeah, so my show, Interviews with Ed, is on the Gaia Network now. You can go there. It's trending quite well. So I found out this past weekend. And it's also available on Vimeo. So if you don't have a Gaia subscription and you want to just check it out, maybe just one episode, you can do that. The Gaia subscription is a better deal. I think you can get a free Gaia subscription now for like a 2-week trial or something, and then binge watch the whole thing, or keep your subscription. And I think it's like $9.99 a month, and they have a lot of other great content on there. We were just talking about Bruce Lipton and Craig Braden, and I love those guys. And they're and Gina, what's her name? Anyways, there's a ton of great shows on there. Go check them all out. And interviewwithed.org. I have a Facebook page, Interview with Ed, all one word. And I'm constantly posting new updates in this realm, including, the disclosure articles and things like that sort of have to do with EDs and extra dimensionals and ETs and this fun topic. So definitely go check that out. And if you want to follow my other work, which I seem to have a little bit bigger following in that realm, and maybe I'm going to even them out a little bit, but I do a lot of stunt work and acting, and was in a small movie, as we talked about before, Dave, Avatar, for 4 years, and got to play an alien in the movie, and as well as Jake Sully's Avatar stunt double, his main double there. So that was sort of my journey leading me into this realm. And you can find out all about that work and what I'm doing in the latest, greatest shows and things that I'm showing up on my website, ReubenLangdon.com. It's all one word. And,
perfect.
I've also got an events page on that page that talks about all the convention appearances and all that fun stuff.
Perfect. And Kerri Ann, Quirky Cosmo on Facebook?
Yes, and Quirky Cosmo on every other social media platform there is. That is streamlining right now. I do not have a website, but I do go to. I know. But I have a YouTube channel. If you want to check me out at. You really don't. I use social media and a linked tree. So find me on Instagram. You can go to my bio description box and you can find every other link I've got right there. And
I got to wrap it up here, guys. I got to wrap it up here. We got the SOR Newswire and the Thought of the Day coming up next on Spaced Out Radio.
Coming soon to our website, spacedoutradio.com, is the SOR Space Travelers Club. For just $5 a month, you can get into a private area on our site where you can hang with other listeners in our chat room, post in our forum, and check out a bunch of exclusive content and store that won't be found anywhere else, including a nightly after-show party with Dave. It's going to be the best $5 a month you're going to spend. The SOR Space Travelers, only at spacedoutradio.com.
Visit purpleplates.com today For over 40 years, the Purple Energy Plates have been delivering amazing results for their many customers. Inspired by the great genius Nikola Tesla, the harmony, healing, and energetic effects of the plates have proven over and over to be beneficial and often miraculous to thousands of customers. Check their site for daily specials and choose from their many energy products. You won't be sorry. Visit them today at purpleplates.com.
Hello, this is your guitar man, Ron Bumblefoot Thal, and I have to tell you, I love the response I get for Little Brother is Watching from Spaced Out Radio fans. It's amazing how music can inspire and make people think deeper about what's going on in the supernatural world. You can head over to my website, bumblefoot.com, to check out my music, my guitar workshops, my touring, even check out some of the hot sauces that I'm working on. And make sure you keep on listening, because with Spaced Out Radio, you know Little Brother is watching.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7, with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
Come get spooked at the 4th Annual Forest Moon Paracon in Cedar-Woolley, Washington, Saturday, September 28th. UFOs, ghosts, aliens, Bigfoot. Speakers include Mike Morin and Jason Jordan, R. Keith Andrews, and Dave Scott from Spaced Out Radio, and so much more. There will be workshops and a VIP roundtable. Get early bird tickets now at fmparacon.com.
A timepiece is a reflection of who you are, and what better way to show off the real you than with an Escape watch. Escape is a lifestyle brand accessorizing your days and nights. Choose to escape and create the life of discovery that you deserve. Dream, play, unite with your own personalized Escape watch. Head to escapewatches.com. There is no time like the present to enjoy your escape. Use promo code SMF2017 for your 20% discount today.
Heading to Vancouver and looking for a night on the town? The Moose Vancouver is the bar that never stops rocking until 2 a.m. every night. The Moose has great food with everything on the menu from $6.95 to $8.95. Fantastic, vibrant staff and rock and roll that will bring you back to when the music was real, the hair was long, and the guitars were rocking. Get your party on at the Moose Vancouver, the official party bar of Spaced Out Radio.
Coming up this September 21st and 22nd, all UFO eyes will be focused on Toronto for the 4th Annual Alien Cosmic Expo. Come listen to some of the biggest names and experiencers in ufology. Travis Walton, Paul Hellyer, Richard Dolan, Paula Harris, Grant Cameron, Randy Kramer, and Spaced Out Radio's own Dave Scott. Tickets are on sale now at aliencosmicexpo.com.
Looking for a place to advertise at a very reasonable cost? Look no further than Spaced Out Radio. SpacedOutRadio.com has an advertising tab that you can click to check out our daily, weekly, and monthly packages to play on the radio, or our website including social media. From commercial spots to banners, we have it all. Check out our competitive pricing today.
The freedom to post what you want, when you want. That's the social media freedom you need. Social Media Freedom is the free app in your app store. No need to worry about going to jail or being shadow banned any longer. It's the freedom to say what you feel. The freedom to know Big Brother isn't watching. It's the way social media is supposed to be. Social Media Freedom. It's time to set yourself free. Download from your app store today.
Every night on Space Out Radio, we have places for you to hang out. Hi, this is Carl. Join our SOR Space Travelers group on Facebook for live chat. On Twitter, using hashtag Spaced Out Radio. You can also join us in our Spreaker chat room. Check us out on Instagram at Dave Scott SOR. All of our archives are free on YouTube at Spaced Out Radio. By the way, I'll be watching you at your window until you do. Bye!
Did you know Spaced Out Radio runs 7 days a week? Hi there, this is Tessa Nicole Thomas, and I'm here to take you on a paranormal journey each Saturday and Sunday night. Why change the station when you have it all right here? Together, we'll hang out and share some strange and scary stories. And don't forget, we have Psychic Sundays as well, so come tune in Spaced Out Weekend. We get going at 9 p.m. Pacific, midnight Eastern, only at spacedoutradio.com, where we own the night.
Looking for the stories of the strange and weird that you will find hard to find anywhere else? Check out the SOR Newswire on our website. Our writers, led by Captain Shirk, are scouring the world for the oddest and most bizarre stories we can find. Everything from weird crime to suspenseful and paranormal. We're working hard for you to bring you the most intriguing news of your day. Check out the SOR Newswire at spacedoutradio.com today.
Are you intrigued by Paranormal Talk Radio? You'll love the new Paranormal Radio app from TalkStream Live. You'll find a great selection of talk shows covering UFOs, ghosts, strange phenomena, and much more. Download the Paranormal Radio app now and start listening to the very best in paranormal talk entertainment, including the network you're listening to right now, the Paranormal Radio app, free in Google Play and the iOS App Store.
We've rounded third. We're heading for home tonight on Spaced Out Radio. I am your host, Dave Scott. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Really appreciate you taking the time. Remember, if you've missed the majority of this show or others, you can always go to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. The archives are there for you for free. And our website, spacedoutradio.com. Should be done in another day or two. We're just going to start moving news over very, very soon. The Gavinator, on the job, getting the job done. We thank him for that. Now, let's get to the weird, the wacky, the strange in the news today with the SOR Newswire. The news is always changing, which is why we bring you the SOR Newswire at the back end of every show, where we get into the weird, the strange, the WTF, those stories that may make you scratch your head. All of our news put together by our intrepid news director, Captain Shirk. So we're going to start off in the field of ufology. A guy named Keith Kluwer is taking a lot of heat the last 24 hours because he wrote a story for TheIntercept.com claiming that he quoted a Pentagon official, Christopher Sherwood, that Luis Elizondo had no responsibilities with regard to the ATIP program while he worked the Office of the Undersecretary of Defense for Intelligence up until the time he resigned, effective October 4th, 2017. Now, of course, Elizondo has been said to have run the ATIP program. Former Senator Harry Reid has come out and said Elizondo ran the program. Bob Bigelow has said this. George Knapp has reported on this. Knapp went as far as today as to bring out a classified letter, a lot of the terminology and names redacted, that showed Elizondo's name on there as the ATIP head. Now, according to the original report, for 8 years, the secret program was run by Lou Elizondo, a clandestine U.S. government program that was investigating UFOs. Although the Pentagon says, yes, ATIP existed, and it did pursue research and investigation into the unidentified aerial phenomena. But there are people out there now scratching their heads. Is Elizondo really who he says he is? This all comes on the heels of this past Friday night's show, Unidentified, John Greenwald from theblackvault.com, who's done some pretty good work. He reached out to the public relations of the TTSA, and he was told the program was initially run out of the Defense Intelligence Agency, but when Lou, as in Elizondo, took it over in 2010 as director, he ran it out of the Office for the Secretary of Defense under the Undersecretary of Defense for Intelligence, and she hoped that clarified. But apparently that may not be true. Going to be very interesting to see how this plays out as the main man, the man in black, Lou Elizondo. Great soul patch, though. Great soul patch. Got to give him credit there. May not be who he thinks he is. Do I think he is? On a personal level, yes, I do. I think he did serve in that. But it'll be interesting to see if our minds are changed. Here's a cool story out of Monterey Bay, California. Central California coast has become one of the best places in the world to spot whales, from humpbacks to grays, orcas, and massive blue whales, all making their way through the area at different times of the year. But the Baird's-beaked whales, more than 24 of them, were spotted off the coast just in the last week. Now, the last time this pod had been seen, according to Nancy Black, marine biologist, was like 30 years ago. She's only seen this whale about 10 times in her life. The whale is also known for like a giant beak, like a platypus. It's like a platypus whale without the hair and the funky tail. They have bulbous heads, long beaks that make them look somewhat familiar, like a dolphin, except they grow to like 42 feet long. Maybe it's not like a platypus. Maybe it's more like a dolphin. Let's stick with the dolphin so that way I don't look like an idiot. But they are rarely seen. They're usually found at depths around 3,300 feet and rarely swim into shallow waters. So this latest family at least gave them some time to study. Oh, yeah, there's the video on them. Yeah, it's more like dolphins. More like dolphins, not a platypus. Dolphin. So this large pod that was spotted by whale-watching boats for about 25 minutes remained at the surface for about 8 minutes, allowing the crew to capture some up-close drone footage. When they watched the footage back, marine biologists were able to count 24 adult Bairds and 3 calves. It's pretty cool. They're all like swimming in a straight line. Pretty phenomenal. The calves are like intertwined in between the bigger whales. Very, very cool. You know, I've never seen a whale in the wild. I would say that's one of my bucket list things. Lived on Vancouver Island for a couple of years. Never saw whales. Saw porpoises. Saw sea lions. Everything else. Picked up a few rocks to look for some crabs. Never whales. All right. Moving into space. If you've never seen the tiny planet Mercury, well, head outside tonight if you don't have clouds. The elusive inner planet, which is usually lost in the sun's glare, this month becomes visible just after dark, and the views get better as the month develops. Its first becomes easily viewable tonight beside a very young moon, which will be easier to make it seen. Another bonus, if you're looking for it, it looks like the red planet Mars. Yeah. So we'll be able to have this month Mercury, Venus, Mars. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. We don't get to see it. You know what I don't understand is Mercury's the closest planet to the sun, yet Venus is the hottest planet. How does the heat skip over Mercury to blast Venus? I want to know this. I don't know why. It's bugging me. It's becoming a pet peeve right now. Totally becoming a pet peeve. Anyways, Go look for Mercury. Larry, the Downing Street cat, caused a whole lot of tension during Donald Trump's visit to 10 Downing Street, the official residence of the United Kingdom Prime Minister Theresa May. That's because Larry, the Downing Street cat, decided to lay down underneath the president's limousine known as the Beast. But it wasn't some ordinary cat, of course. Larry, the chief mouser of Downing Street, who has lasted longer in the building than some British leaders. He was recruited by Battersea Dogs and Cats Home on recommendation for his mousing skills. He joined the number 10 Downing household and has made a significant impact, according to his bio. This cat has a bio. Well, old Donnie there, he couldn't leave. And the Secret Service was getting a little antsy because Larry the cat just wouldn't leave underneath the limousine. Yeah, apparently he overstepped his boundaries. Cat's decision to relax below Trump's heavily armored vehicle meant that it couldn't drive until Larry decided to leave, but Larry refused, leading some journalists waiting outside to joke the huge security issue. It's possible Larry just wanted some attention. Since May is solely focused on Trump right now, he is sitting on a windowsill, watching the president and prime minister greet each other in one photo. No, the chief mouser, pissing off the president. Getting back to UFOs, article out of Vox.com, basically saying now more than half of American adults and over 60% of young Americans believe in intelligent extraterrestrial life. This tracks now pretty closely with the belief in God, according to Dr. Diana Pasulka. And that's not an accident. Of course, Diana was a guest here on the show a couple of months ago. She's a professor at the University of North Carolina and author of the book American Cosmic. Great lady. Fun to speak with. So basically, what Dr. Pasulka is saying is we can make sense of this by using a very old but functional definition of religion as simply the belief in non-human and supernatural intelligent beings that often descend from the sky. There are many definitions of religion, but this one is pretty standard. There's another distinction about belief in non-human extraterrestrial intelligence or UFO inhabitants that makes it distinct from all types of religions which we are most familiar. She's a historian in Catholicism, for instance, and what she finds when she interacts with people in Catholic communities is that they have the same faith that Jesus walked on water and that the Virgin Mary apparitions were true. But there's something different about the UFO narrative. Here we have actual people who are actual scientists, like Ellen Stoffen, former chief scientist at NASA, who are willing to go on TV and basically make announcements like we are going to find extraterrestrial life. Now, she's not exactly talking about intelligent extraterrestrial life, but that's not how many people interpret her. It's getting weird. It's getting very, very weird, don't you think? Time to wake up the masses. All right, we're going to end this on a couple of Florida stories. This one literally scares the hell out of me. That's why I'm glad there's no alligators where I live. Just battling the mosquitoes. Florida couple decided they would go on a romantic little picnic. But they got a lot more than they planned when the alligator that was swimming in the lake decided to swim right up to the shore, get up on shore, and make a beeline towards their picnic basket. I mean, they had their fruit set up, their crackers, salami, a little bit of Yanni playing in the background. The alligator didn't care. Oh, no. Started chowing down on their dinner after the people were able to escape. Trevor Walters, he says, the alligator was swimming right up to the bank, and he just looked at us, dead in the eyes. He immediately sprints up to the beach. That's when they grab their cell phone of the reptile, helping himself to the food that he was so carefully arranged on the picnic blanket, complete with cutting board bowls, plates, and utensils. Fiancé Taylor Forte says, we were in shock, so we just hauled tail the other way and watched it happen. What else can you do? The gator will have to be trapped and killed because it has lost its fear of humans. That's too bad. Probably for having been fed, an official with Florida's Fish Wildlife Conservation Commission is saying. Anyways, Walters says he was scared. The unwanted guest actually scared the unwanted guest away by approaching it with his arms and legs outstretched menacingly, a posture he called the bear scare. It's a pretty big boy, too. I could see where the alligator would be intimidated. The meal was by the lake, which was meant to be a special occasion before Walters leaves for the Marines. Good luck, Marine. And, yeah, definitely a date they will remember for a long time. Now, got some demons happening in Florida. In Hudson, 38-year-old Damon Dean Cantrell was arrested this past weekend at a Walmart. Go figure, right? Old Cantrell here started pouring salt all over the floors of Walmart to ward off evil spirits around him. The store manager told the deputies that Mr. Florida Man poured the salt on the floor and on his feet before taking off into the woods. Deputies found him lying under some trees in the woods, which was still on Walmart's property. He was arrested on trespassing charges, taken to county jail overnight. They're still debating what to do with him. I don't know. Really, really don't know. That's some good drugs or booze, though. Salt in Walmart gets rid of the demons every time. Thought of the Dave happens every night at this time, where we post a pitch question on our Facebook and Twitter pages, then read your responses on the air because we love the audience participation around here. Today's Thought of the Dave is as followed. What's one thing you'd change about yourself to become more spiritually enlightened? I know for me, it'd finally be getting rid of this cold. Worst part about it is I'm getting used to my voice sounding like this, and I don't like it. I like my other voice. Let's hear what you had to say. Gabe. Remove all the negative programming from my life, like horror movies, the news, and limit myself on social media like Facebook. Kevin and Kevin's beard, two separate entities. I'd have to quit my job, get rid of my kids, so not really possible at the moment. Kevin has one fine beard, though. One fine beard. I would put Kevin's beard in the Hall of Fame along with Cooper's. I really would. I think on the new website, we're going to start a Beard Hall of Fame. For the ladies, we'll do awesome hair. If you got awesome hair, we'll put you in the SOR Hall of Fame. That's what we'll do. Let's get to Dave. He doesn't have a beard. He says, my skepticism, sarcasm, and bitterness to those that have wronged me, oops, that's 3. Pick one, add indecisiveness. It's kind of funny. It's kind of funny, actually. Francesca, keep honoring my calling in just little steps. Robin, I need to get rid of grudges that I am holding on to. It's hard for me to let go of them. You know what, Robin? I think everybody's like that. There's still some things that piss me off. Hell, I've been divorced for, what year is it? 9 years now I've been divorced. And I still can't stand my former mother-in-law. So I know what you're talking about. I should just let it go. But it's way too much fun. Way too much fun. Jamie, after watching this program literally 10 minutes ago about this TV chef visiting homes in rural Middle East, I was saying how enlightening it would be to be able to live like that. No modern-day distractions, growing your own food, cooking from scratch, at one with nature, no TV or internet. There's something beautiful and satisfying about that. Not sure I would cope, but I love the thought of it. Gail, not a thing. I'm happy, content, and at peace listening to Rob Zombie every single night. Gertrude, nothing to change here. To the contrary, we need to accept ourselves the way we are. Olga gets the final word. Where I need to be for now, but still more to travel and seek me. Beautiful. Thought of the Day can be found on our Facebook and Twitter pages each and every day. We love the audience participation, so make sure you check it on out. Big thanks to Captain Shirk for putting our news together tonight for the SOR Newswire. And we want to say thank you to Reuben Langdon and Kerri Ann Sanders for hopping on in, filling in for Geraldine Orozco on the Spiritual You. Geraldine will be back on Tuesday, July 2nd, so stay tuned for that. Tomorrow night on the show, Chris Cogswell, William Pullen, a new look sounding Reality Paranormal, 9:06 Pacific, 12:06 a.m. Eastern at spacedoutradio.com. We got Mr. Ron Bumblefoot THAL rocking in the background with Little Brother is Watching. Bumblefoot is the official music of Spaced Out Radio, rocking us in and out of every single show. Get your horns up for the guitar god himself. Special thanks tonight to everybody listening in at work, at home, in your cars, wherever you may be, in our chat rooms, on Twitter at hashtag Spaced Out Radio. Thank you so much for sticking with us each and every night. We absolutely love you. It's a lot of fun reading your comments each and every night because together, my friends, we own the night. I will talk to you in 21 hours from now. Mr. Bumblefoot, we need a favor. We need you to take us home. Good night.